I love these. Love these buddies right here. These are awesome.
There. Yo!
Getting better. I'm getting better at this.
Second week in
This.
a
this
row. Second show in a row, man. Hell yeah.
I know, right? I'm hitting records, man. We break records every time we do this.
Yeah.
Yo,
What's up?
so when you text me and told me you were setting up, I was like pre-gaming, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm watching a scene, and this is not on my list, by the way, but I'm watching a scene from Tekken. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm watching the scene where Eddie is fighting in the ring, and I didn't know
Yeah.
Shang Tsung was in this movie either.
He's
The
in
guy that
that
plays Shang
movie?
Tsung in the original Mortal Kombat's in here.
No shit.
Yeah, he's in here. Apparently, he's like one of the judges or something like that. So I don't know if it's just in this motherfucker's contract, so where they're like, listen, if you're going to be in a video game movie, you have to judge these fights. Like, you have to be a boss. But Eddie looks pretty spot on. He looks pretty spot on. His dance, not his dance, but his fighting style looks spot on. But the movie does not. I don't know. I don't know if I want to watch the rest of this. I don't know if I want to watch anything outside of this fight sequence. I don't know.
Let's see. I did not watch it because I knew it was from the same guys that did the DOA movie.
Oh, was it? It makes sense. It makes absolute sense. It makes sense. Same directors or producers that did Dead or
Producer. Warner Brothers and Sony. Oh man, that's not good.
They were on a mean streak at some point. Apparently, they did this and Dead or Alive. I mean, I don't know.
The White Little.
None of those are on my list. So
Oh
I
man,
figured.
guess who directed Tekken? He did our favorite Halloween movie. Halloween
If you fucking say
4.
Dwight Little,
Dwight Little.
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, no,
Yeah. Fact.
nah.
It says it right here, directed by Dwight H. Little. What?
Hold up. Dwight Little, listen, this is a little fun fact about Dwight Little. First of all, now, all right, I didn't see all of Tekken, so I'm not going to, the jury's still out on it. It doesn't look good, but I like the dumbest fucking movies sometimes. But Dwight Little, he has not had the best track record with existing properties. Like Halloween is an exception, but I don't know if you noticed, he directed Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid, like the second Anaconda movie, and it's not. Yeah, I went to the movies to see that shit, and it's not all that good. But Dwight Little, he, I don't know, man. I just would guess that since he did Halloween 4, he did. I don't remember Murder at 1600, but he
That was
did
a good movie.
with
That
Wesley Snipes.
was a really good movie.
Yeah, I don't like what a lot of Wesley's like '90s hits. I think I missed out on, man. Like wasn't he in U.S. Marshals?
He was in
I don't.
U.S. Marshal. That was an okay movie. Dwight Little also did my favorite Brandon Lee movie, Rapid Fire, which is like,
I remember
what?
him
That's a
doing
fire
Rapid
fucking
Fire.
movie.
Yeah,
And
I
then
remember
he
him
did my
doing
favorite Seagal movie, Marked for Death, which I think is probably Seagal's best movie.
Marked for Death. Daniel Harris. I remember there was on the Halloween 4 commentary. Daniel Harris told Ellie Cornell that Dwight Little at the time was the only director in the industry that kept his word. He told her, "Listen, I worked with you in Halloween 4. I'll come back and scoop you up for another movie," and he put her in Marked for Death. He did an episode of Freddy's Nightmares. That shit is on Tubi, man. I gotta watch Freddy's Nightmares.
You know what? I was actually gonna propose this. Maybe in May we do a watch along for the pilot.
I was just about to say that. I remember you telling me that is like arguably the best pilot in TV history.
Yes.
Like the Freddy's Nightmares pilot, yeah. And I don't remember it, so I've always like peeked at it on Tubi, and I'm like, I've been holding out on it. But yeah, we can do that because I don't remember any of the episodes.
Yeah, it's I think it's like 27 minutes long with commercials, so probably like a half hour.
Yeah, I have not. I don't remember any of the Freddy's Nightmares episodes. I probably remember 1 or 2 episodes of Friday the 13th.
He's only in like maybe 4 episodes out of like the 10 episode run, I think.
So it's like an anthology type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool though. Like I could get with that though. Like I could get with that. Does it take place in Springwood?
Yeah.
I really don't remember none of the shit.
Yeah, it takes place in Springwood, and it like varies to like kid to kid, and like Freddy is like the crypt keeper. He's introducing the story at the beginning, and then he sets up, and then he comes out and closes off with his zinger. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy, man? Like I feel like that would have worked. It would work better now. Well, I don't know, because I feel like had they would have been more consistent with putting Freddy movies out, people would have warmed up to that more nowadays than they did back then, because people used to write off the Friday the 13th series and the Nightmare on Elm Street series and shit like that. But I feel like even the Halloween thing, could you imagine if they did like a Halloween TV series where they did a different, like literally did the original idea where it was a different anthology type of story every single time around? I feel like people would.
That's what American Horror Story tried to be.
Yeah. They just announced, speaking of which, American Horror Story 12 is coming out with everybody's favorite celebrity, Kim Kardashian, and everybody's favorite Ghostface, Emma Roberts, have joined the cast. I mean, look,
I wish I knew you were going to bring this up, because I would have had this queued up.
It makes no difference to me if they're in it. I have like 2 or 3 more episodes in season 1 to go. I haven't seen it, but like me and my girl started watching American Horror Story, and she's seen all of it. So she put me onto it, and season 1 is actually really fucking good. Like I'm really like attached to that story.
1's good. 2, it takes a while to get to. 3, they lose steam toward the tail end.
Mm-hmm.
I could not finish 4. Freaks was a hard watch. It really was. It was like
which season has Kathy Bates? I heard Kathy Bates is in it.
That's 3. That's 3. But then she becomes a regular character throughout. So
okay, yeah, and I think
this is what I would have had queued up.
What is it? Wait, what? Oh, that's Ray out here first. Listen, we do not own the rights to this music, ladies and gentlemen.
It's fair use. The both of the fair use. Because I'm using it as a parody.
It took me a while to, like, I'm listening, like, what the fuck is he playing? Like, I'm like, is this a 90s TV show theme? And then I'm just like, oh, like, it started to kick in. Ray J is one of the pettiest motherfuckers I've ever seen, man. Just straight up petty, man. I hit first, like, but you know what? It was bragging rights back in the day, because I'm not gonna lie, Kim Kardashian was fine as shit. She was fine as fuck back in the day, but they're all witches. They're witches. I wouldn't go anywhere to fuck near them, bro. I wouldn't.
Yeah, look what they did to Lamar Odom, bro.
Listen, no, Ray J's lucky. He's the black guy that got out of there in one piece, or just the guy for that matter.
The Kardashians are the real life Get Out.
Yeah, real shit. Because Lamar Odom, I mean, thank God he made it out alive. Like, shout out Lamar Odom. I don't want to burn that bridge. Lakers legend. I would love to give him
dude.
Lamar Odom, he got out alive, but they fucked him up. What's the guy's name? Reggie Bush was fucking with Kim Kardashian at some point. Chris Humphries, who also played for the Lakers, was fucking with her at some point. What's the guy's name? Scott? Who's the guy that's with the short Kardashian? The one that had a drinking problem or something? Not Travis Scott.
Because I thought YG's with the short one.
Oh man, he looks like Jared Leto. The guy that looks like Jared Leto that was dating one of the Kardashians. I don't know who the fuck he is. Tristan Thompson. I don't know. The Lakers just signed him, so I don't want him to bring that bullshit over to us. You know?
Oh, what? Tristan is a Laker? When
we signed him for the remainder. We signed him for the remainder of the postseason, and he's available to play next week, I think. Wait, is he available to play tonight? I'm not sure. I think he's available to play tonight. I'm not sure. But yeah, Tristan Thompson. Him and LeBron are back. I think the one person that wasn't so lucky, and I'm not even trying to be smart here, but the one person that left the Kardashian family completely changed was Caitlyn Jenner. I'll be very PC here. It was Caitlyn Jenner. That was I don't even want to touch on that. Yeah. We don't have to touch on that.
I'm not sure we want to go down that road just yet.
That's not even a bridge we can burn. That's like, you remember Temple of Doom where Indiana Jones cut the fucking rope on the bridge while he was on it? Like, that's doing that. Like, we don't want to take it there, people. We don't. Not on RNZ Live. We will play it very safe, and we will be respectful on this show. This is family programming at the end of the day. It's one of the reasons why we break out of these stuff.
Holy shit. It doesn't say when he's available.
Who?
When Tristan Thompson is available.
Okay.
If he's playing tonight, if he's going to play next week. It might be better just to play him next week. Honestly, we got the T-Wolves first round.
Listen, man. Listen.
And they're hurting, so.
Play everybody tonight. And Rudy Gobert got suspended. They sent his ass home. Like, yo, go to your room. Think about what you've done. Gamer Harold. What's up, Gamer Harold?
Hey, what's up, Gamer? Big Harold, what's up?
I wasn't even looking at the fucking comments, man. I wasn't looking. Yeah, man. Thank you for joining us. every all 2.5 of you that are in here tonight. We appreciate it all. Good family programming right now.
Yeah, for real. And it's about to get worse because
What
about to get worse. Because I'm going to say something that's very kind of controversial right now, and I kind of got a lot of shit for it. And this kind of leads into our list today, which is 5 worst video game adaptations.
Come on with it. You know
Welcome
I'm ready
to
for
Raccoon
it.
City. Not that horrible. Not that bad.
I told you.
Not bad. Not that bad. Not that bad.
We gonna discuss it at some point. Trust me. That's all I'm saying. But yo, when you text me, I text you back. I'm like, listen, it's the closest thing we got.
Yeah.
Technical live action.
Seeing Neil McDonough at the beginning of that film almost made me lose it. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
I know. I don't like
fuck
him.
Out of here with that.
I don't like him in anything. He is the same character in every. He's not the same status as like Sam Worthington, or he's not that status, but he's awful in everything. Like, I don't like him. He's the same character in Raccoon City. He's the same character in Walking Tall. He's the same character in another video game adaptation we'll get to.
Oh God, I think I already know what you're talking about.
He's got a knack for this shit, bruh. He does, man. He does. He's not Wentworth Miller bad, but he's awful, man. I don't like him. He is that sniveling. The only thing he's missing is a mustache, like the twirl. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he can grow facial hair.
Yeah, that motherfucker. Yeah, your face just been naked since birth. Like, I don't listen. I don't like him. He was a bad choice.
It was not a bad movie, and I got shit for it last night too when I was doing the cinema space. Like, come on, dude, that's like a bad movie. And I was like, dude, listen. If this movie had came out in 2002 instead of the original Resident Evil movie, we would have fucking said that this was the best thing ever. Let's just not kid ourselves here. This is a 2002 movie made in 2022 with 2002 CGI. Let's be clear.
Exactly. The CGI was, listen, I'm sorry, man. Like, as much fun as I had with that movie, the CGI is bad. It's bad. Even in the trailers, I remember doing the trailer reaction, and I was looking at the zombie dog, and I'm like, the eyes and the way that they like had the zombie a little bit decayed and the drool, I was like, this shit. But it was surprising to me because it's the same director, Johannes Roberts, who did The Strangers Prey at Night. I don't know how you feel about that movie. I actually like it.
I haven't seen that movie yet, so I can't speak on it.
Listen, all right, don't go into it expecting the same like atmosphere and tension of the first movie.
Someone had put it this way: is that like Prey at Night is the equivalent to like a Jason 6 or a Jason 7, where it's just like off the wall.
No, it's not. The Strangers Prey at Night, for me, you still get atmosphere. You still get quiet moments that lead into creepy moments. It's not a lot of like forced jump scares. It is really good stalk sequences. Especially, there's a scene where the guy with the bag over his head is stalking the brother in a pool, and the fact that it takes place in this trailer park with this family. I think it's a mother, a father, the daughter, and the son. Like, spaces, it's not limited, but there's not a lot of places they can run to except for like when the movie starts to go off into the tail end. But I thought it was pretty decent. It's not like the original Stranger scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was actually scary. The second one got so much hate, and I'm like, why? They even set it up for a third one, and they put a little twist on it at the end where you're like, wait, hold up. I don't know if this is exactly where we're going here, but they leave it up to the imagination at the end. But the characters, the one thing about it, like the first one, they do stupid shit. The characters do a lot of stupid shit, and the fact that it's four y'all that are smart, y'all do some stupid ass shit. But the movie, it's not terrible. Like, if you want just a slasher to just pass through time, like, you'll find things to maybe pick apart that you like about it. But I thought it was pretty.
I think Lisa liked the movie a lot too. I think she she didn't like it as much as the first one, but I do remember hearing Elisa saying some positive things about the movie. Also, it's just a movie that just wasn't on my list because I was just like, I'm not sure that the Strangers needed a sequel. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
the movie was perfect enough.
It didn't, but they try to. They don't explain a lot, but I'm telling you, like the shit that they set up at the end, it's like, are we getting lore for these characters? Like, do we dare say that we're getting lore for these characters? And you don't have to. They could be mysterious, but they set up some shit at the end of it. But I think that director, he took what he did in The Strangers as far as like the tension moments, and he added a little bit of that into Welcome to Raccoon City, because there's some moments like the mansion sequence with I think it's Brad Vickers. Is it Vickers or is it Richard Aiken? I can't remember. But Chris Redfield and whoever he's in the mansion with, that zombie sequence where their zombies are creeping around in the dark. Yeah, Richard Aiken. That sequence when they're in the mansion getting attacked by the zombies, I'm like, okay, this is the director I know from The Strangers. He's injecting that horror element.
And he recreated like 2 Hallmark sequences from the video game with the introduction of the zombie the first time and the introduction to the liquor. Like, frame by frame, when you put those sequences to like the video game, it is almost dead on and spot on how they revealed those, you know. Yeah. And we also got a little hint of the hunter, which I was like kind of mad we didn't get no hunters in this movie, because that would have been badass.
Yeah, they did so many things, man. Like, first of all, when they show that first zombie and that zombie turns, like you see it in the trailer, but when you see it in the movie, it's like that is as close as you could have gotten to that moment. In that, I had it on Sega. I had the first Resident Evil on Sega Saturn. And I know that when you turn that corner and that cutscene starts and that motherfucker's sitting over top of that body, it's actually Kenneth, the black dude Kenneth. He bites his fucking head off, and when that zombie crunches down and that blood spreads and then he turns around, all bets are off at that point. That was a milestone moment.
The game starts.
Yeah, that was yeah, exactly. That was like a milestone moment in the fucking game right there. They do a lot of shit in that Resident Evil movie. That's like you said, if they would have released this in 2002 or so, we would have been like, okay, this has just opened up the door for video game adaptations everywhere. You know, normally,
like you said, it is the closest to a Resident Evil game, because even the Paul Anderson and Mila Jovovich movies, they are not Resident Evil games. Like,
nah, they're not. I love those movies, though. I do.
Paul Anderson never played a Resident Evil game. Like, that's just how I feel. I feel like he's never played a game.
I'm not gonna hold you. The Resident Evil. I was just telling somebody in this horror group on Facebook. I was saying that the Resident Evil series is my favorite guilty pleasure franchise. They don't give a fuck. It is the Fast and Furious of creature feature monster zombie dog crow movies. Like, they don't give a fuck. They get wilder every time. That's exactly what it is. But I love those movies because even the worst ones, I'm never really too bored. You know, they might have little dry spots, but they give you sequences where it's like, okay, this stands out and I can pull this apart from the movie if the rest of it was garbage. But like you said, Paul W.S. Anderson, this is a motherfucker, like, I think that, you know, like his younger siblings or relatives love the games, and he's like, well, what do you love from it? What, the liquors? Okay, what else? Dogs? And, you know, he just, zombies.
Writing cliff notes and shit.
He's writing shit down, and he's like, okay, I married Mila Jovovich, so now she's obligated to be in all of these sequels. And let me say this about Paul W.S. Anderson. Now, I'm gonna talk a little bit about this because none of the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evils are on my list. Not my best of, not my worst of. Because they're not.
Ironically enough, they're not on my list either.
Yeah, because I thought long and hard, and I almost put my favorite is Resident Evil Extinction. I almost put it on there, but I'm like, no, because this is not something that they took from the game. They took pieces of it, but this is something entirely different.
Yeah,
I love the movie, but it wouldn't be fair to put it on the list. But Paul W.S. Anderson, man, he directed the first one, and then he stepped aside. He produced and wrote part 2. Alexander Witt did part 2. Then Russell Mulcahy.
2 was my favorite. 2 is my favorite.
Apocalypse is your favorite?
Yeah, I like 2 a lot.
Listen, I've got a lot of love. I've got a lot of nostalgia for Apocalypse. I think my least favorite. It used to be my least favorite until I saw Afterlife, and then when I saw the final chapter, I was like, "Oh no, this is the fucking worst of the worst." But that shit.
I even said that in my reviews. Like, you mean to tell me that this movie is worse than Extinction or Afterlife? Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Like, get out. Like, no. Like, Raccoon City is nowhere near as bad because at least they tried here. I don't feel they tried with the last two movies.
No, they took their liberties and they ran with that shit. As much as I love the Resident Evil movies and that Mila Jovovich is in, they took every liberty. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the Paul W.S. Anderson franchise, when they get it right, they get it right. Like Jill Valentine in Resident Evil Apocalypse, spot fucking on from Resident Evil Nemesis. Spot on. Not so much Carlos Oliveira and Nikolai in that movie. They took liberties with that, but the Tyrant in Part 3, spot on.
Yeah.
The Axeman and Ada Wong in Resident Evil Retribution and Barry Burton in Resident Evil Retribution. Speaking of which, where the fuck was Barry in Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City? That was one of my biggest problems with that movie. Where
that was another thing
back?
too. That people were flooding my comments like there was no Barry. Like, who gives a fuck?
You need Barry.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you play Chris's story, Barry is nowhere near that fucking story.
You talking about in the first one?
Yeah, the first one. Like, Barry's not even a side character. Because when you really think about it, it's really Chris Redfield's story. Redfield. When you play Jill Valentine, that's the secondary story.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, look, I guess because I was so spoiled with. They had not Chris Duran. That's the dude that played Michael Myers in fucking H2. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, who was an underrated character actor. He played Barry Burton. That was chef's kiss casting in Resident Evil Retribution. Ada Wong, Leon Kennedy, and Barry Burton in Resident Evil Retribution. That was so spot on. I feel like if you would have put those characters in Welcome to Raccoon City, we would have had something completely
for Raccoon City. Did you know there's a post-credit scene
with Wesker?
Yeah, and Ada Wong.
Yeah, what the fuck? But it's like, he had the sunglasses on, and he's like, "What happened?" And Ada's like, "I brought you back to life because you died." And it's like, what? Fuck is going on?
The T-virus. They've set up for a sequel, and yet we're not going to get one.
I was just about to say that. It's a shame because we're not going to get a sequel to it, and I would love a sequel to this one. I would love a sequel to this because whether people can have their gripes about it, nothing is going to compare to those animated Resident Evil movies. Those are spot on, but it's only but so much you can do with animation as opposed to fucking live action. We just saw that with the Super Mario Brothers movie. But, like, this is something that they could have carried on and actually stuck with the statistics of the Resident Evil games that people know and love. At least maybe the first three, maybe leading into Code Veronica was technically part 4. That's where I gave up. Like, I gave up on Code Veronica when Wesker.
Code Veronica is the best fucking game, dude.
I love the game, but it's like when Wesker, Code Veronica was the one with Claire, right? Claire came back, and they recreated. Code Veronica had Claire Redfield in it, right?
Yeah, Claire and Chris.
And Code Veronica, I remember Code Veronica because they took a scene from that in Resident Evil Apocalypse where Mila Jovovich, she dropped the gun and then she picked it up and she shot all the dudes that were, all the soldiers. That was from Code Veronica. Now I remember the game, but once Wesker, he went all Matrix and started dodging bullets and shit, that's when I just gave up. I'm like, all right, I'll play the games here and there, but I stopped being invested at that point. Wesker's not even fucking human anymore. His eyes are glowing. He turned into Keanu Reeves and
turns into Nosferatu. There's a sequence in the game where you fight Nosferatu in an ice tunnel.
The vampire?
Yeah.
The fuck? See?
So you didn't get that far. Okay. You didn't get that far.
Bro, listen, I gave up. When I say I gave up, I gave up. Even Resident Evil Nemesis, I almost gave up because I'm like, listen, every time you whoop Nemesis' ass, he mutates even more. He grows tentacles and shit. Mm-hmm. And Code Veronica I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. Now I know enough about the series to know the Easter eggs when they put them here and there, like Resident Evil 5 and the village and all of that type of shit. But Code Veronica was where I was like, I can't do this shit anymore. I can't invest in this anymore. I've already been putting plants together to make maps. I've been looking around the mansion for serum to give it to somebody who's going to die from snake bites and shit. Like, I can't. I was rambling on, man. I didn't even see the fucking comments.
So,
the evil games. Code Veronica's amazing. Yeah, I mean, look, I wish I could share the same sentiment of Code Veronica.
you just
maybe one day,
stuck, bro, and you rage quit. That's all it is, man. Just be honest.
I
was there too, man. I was there too. Like I rage quit for a while, and I stopped playing the game for 2 years, and all of a sudden, I loaded up my Dreamcast and I just started playing. I was like, okay, let's go.
I had it on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Dreamcast, arguably one of the most underrated consoles ever.
Facts.
Ever.
Facts.
Fight us.
Yep.
Fight us on RNZ Live. That is a fact, and we are sticking to that shit. Dreamcast was the one that gave you a memory card with the little Tamagotchi inside of it when you played Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had a little live little alien inside of it that you could feed and take care of and shit. Sonic Adventure, man. That was Dreamcast. God damn, why? Such a short-lived console, man. That's another one we should do is we should rank our favorite consoles from like back in the day or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be decent. I know Dreamcast is definitely Dreamcast and N64. Dreamcast and N64 is like
Xbox for me might be on there. The original Xbox.
That's my number one, brother. That's my number one.
Xbox person? You're an Xbox person?
All day.
Oh my god. Okay,
all
show's
day.
over. Show's over. I don't do shit with Xbox people.
That's my plug to get our Microsoft endorsement. You know, shout out to Microsoft and Xbox. You know, send me a shirt or some shit.
Right.
No, because you know what it was? I was always a weird one with the system. When I think we had Sega Saturn, we all loved that. Then my brother got PlayStation. I wanted an N64. And then I think he got PlayStation 2, and I wanted an Xbox or whatever it was, or a Dreamcast, whatever came out at the time. And then I wanted the Xbox. Like, I wanted all the weird shit. And listen, Xbox always had the better graphics for me. And then the Xbox, the original, came with Halo? Stop.
Yeah.
Come on now. That was the best first-person shooter for me ever.
For me, it was Nintendo, and then I jumped to Sega. Mm-hmm. I never had an SNES. Never. All my friends had Supers. Yeah. I was the only one that had the Sega, and I was the only one that had the Sega CD for a while. Ooh, then I had the Dreamcast and the PlayStation, and my stepdad had bought an Xbox, which I couldn't touch. Like, he didn't want me to play the Xbox at all. But after a while, he started softening up, and I played the Xbox. But yeah, that's it. After that, dude, I never played the 360 or the Series X. I am going to buy a Series X, though. I am saving up my money to buy a Series X. Because I want to play Gears of War finally. That's just sad.
Gears of War. There's supposed to be a Gears of War movie coming out, too. I don't know enough about it to get excited, but I remember trying out. I think I had Gears of War 2. Or it was either 1 or 2, and that's the guy that's got like a chainsaw on his gun, right?
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. Yeah, Gears of War was cool. I didn't play enough of it, but I did like the concept of it. I went into it thinking it was going to be like Doom, but I was fucking sadly mistaken. But it was all right. Like I guess I was spoiled with first person shooters. Because Gears of War, I think, is like a third-person shooter where you can actually see the character.
No, it's first person. It's first person. Yeah, it's first person.
Oh, shit.
You must be thinking of the other Gears of War, because there was a spin-off of Gears of War that was a third person.
Whichever the one was where you could see the dude running around with the chainsaw thing, that's the one I played. Like, I don't know how many fucking spin-offs it was. Gears of War.
Because a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, it was okay. Couldn't really commit to it, but they are making a movie for it. Look, man, I feel like whatever our favorite video games we grew up on, low key, we want a movie for that shit. And there's a popular demand, believe it or not, for Gears of War, and it's going to be a thing apparently.
Dave Bautista is lobbying to play Marcus Phoenix, so
I like that.
Kind of would want to see that. Honestly, I would want to see him play Marcus Phoenix, which is the lead guy in Gears of War, because I think he's the same build, same height.
Yeah,
he has that same look. They even made Bautista a fucking character in a recent release, like a downloadable DLC character, which is pretty.
I'm starting to appreciate Dave Bautista more and more. I went back. I didn't really like Knock at the Cabin, but his performance was solid in that shit. And I went back recently and watched Army of the Dead. And while they do have that cliche, estranged father-daughter relationship, I love that Dave Bautista is like, yo, I don't want to just be typecast. I don't want to be Drax forever. He said he wants to be in a romantic comedy. I appreciate this dude, man, for like trying to go against the odds, man, like, and trying to like really establish himself as a serious actor. You know, he's got range. I think you were the one that were like, I think you asked me on one episode, you were like, yo, Dave Bautista or The Rock, and I kind of was like, I don't know. But the more and more I see Dave Bautista act, man, the more I want to see him in future movies. I would actually want to go back and watch. I forgot he was in Blade Runner. I think he was in. Was it Blade Runner?
2049.
2049. Yeah, he was in that. I've only seen it once, but I remember him being in that, and he was in this movie with Bruce Willis called Marauders. I don't know if he got a lot to do in that movie.
That was that's a straight to DVD movie. That's before he was up there.
Before he was Dave Bautista.
Yeah. That was like right around the time he was just breaking into the business.
Yeah,
Marauders.
I remember.
Is that? No, I'm thinking of 999. Never mind. Yeah, Marauders is a straight to DVD action movie.
Yeah, because I remember Marauders. Man, I was. This was years ago when it came out. I was getting off of work, and I was coming from like the check cashing place or some shit, and I stopped in the Poppy store, and they sold movies in there, and I was like, well, what the fuck is Marauders? And I looked and I saw that Stephen C. Miller directed it. I'm actually familiar with that director. He did this zombie movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Automaton Transfusion. Same director as Marauders. Same director as Marauders. Same director as the Silent Night remake with the killer Santa Claus.
Dude, that one's good. I like that one.
This dude, listen, watch Automaton Transfusion. I don't know if you'll like it or not, but I'm hoping that you will appreciate it for how fucking relentless it is. It is one of the craziest zombie movies I've ever seen. It's like an indie zombie movie. They filmed it on like a small budget down at Full Sail University, and it's fucked up. Like they go to levels. I'm talking like it's not Dead Alive, but they do shit where it's like, yo, you can do that in a zombie movie, whether it's straight to DVD or not. Like I don't even want to spoil it for you, but they do something where I was questioning, like, I don't know who the fuck's car alarm that is. That sounds like the clown car from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That shit's crazy out there. Can you hear that shit?
Yeah,
that shit,
I thought you were playing something on your computers. Like I thought you were like watching a trailer or something.
Literally, listen. And this is where I sit when I do like my commentaries in my episodes, and I'll like when I got my window open, I'm apologizing to the listeners. Like, look, man, if y'all can hear that, I apologize. These motherfuckers are crazy out here, man. I didn't know what that shit was. But yeah, Automaton Transfusion. Put it on your watch list.
I have the trailer up right here, so I'm gonna watch it in a little bit. Speaking of apologies, these fucking directors and writers and studios owe us an apology because these are some of the worst video game adaptations that I have ever fucking seen, man. God damn. Oh my god.
I'm ready.
Oh
I'm ready. Let's jump it off.
Okay.
Let's jump this shit
You
off,
kicked it off
brother.
last time, so it's my turn today. My
yes,
number
it is.
5, Double fucking Dragon.
I knew that was going to be on your list.
I love that game. I love Double Dragon and Battletoads. In theory, this sounds like this could have been like a really good kung fu movie. But whose idea was it to cast fucking Scott fucking Wolf in this movie? Get the fuck out of here.
Wait. Was that before? That was long before Party of Five, right? Wasn't he in Party of Five?
No, that was Party of Five. Mark
Wait.
Dacascos, you completely ruined Mark Dacascos with that movie.
He's in there?
Robert Patrick is just
Oh, he
Robert
is
Patrick.
in
Yeah,
there.
he's the brother. He's the brother.
Oh,
He's the only one that knows how to fight.
oh yeah, because we talked about this one time when we looked it up. I forgot Mark Dacascos. Listen, Mark Dacascos. We love you on this show, man.
Yeah.
But
You
we
Iron Chef and
we got to
everything.
talk about
John
Humble
Wick
Beginnings.
3, yes.
Everything. Only the strong. The Crow. Listen, the Crow Stairway to Heaven for me. Listen, he was the closest we've gotten to Eric Draven. Listen, we love you on this show, but we have to talk about shortcomings and humble beginnings also.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm about to tag him. Should I tag him?
Yeah, tag him. See if he responds.
Oh man, he's gonna be like, who the fuck are these dudes, man?
You two just talking about Double Dragons like, dude, fuck this, dude. I don't want to relive this. This is like PTSD right here.
Alyssa Milano is in this movie. Oh, Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes is in here.
This was directed by a guy that did Michael Jackson's Ghosts. No,
Really?
The Librarian Girl.
Does that add up?
No. This is the guy that directed Michael Jackson's Librarian Girl. He also directed Return of Bruno, Mariah Carey's Merry Christmas Special, High School Musical, Iron Maiden concerts. He did the History of Film, Volume 2, and he's done a lot of concert movies. How the fuck does he get Double Dragon? There's nothing in his filmography leading up to Double Dragon that leads to believe us that he can handle action or sci-fi or anything. And this movie doesn't even know what it wants to be, for crying out loud. This movie doesn't know what it wants to be. If it wants to be an action movie, if it wants to be an escape movie, if it wants to be a sci-fi movie, it doesn't even know if it wants to be a kung fu movie. And a lot of the choreography in this movie is pretty bad, dude. It's bad. It's terrible.
Is it like cut scene? Do they chop it up?
Choppy, and you can totally tell like he's roundhousing the kick and the dude's over here, but all of a sudden the dude's over here.
So listen.
And
I
then
wish I could remember
can't even
this
throw
movie.
a punch to save his life. It's like,
The fucking Robert Patrick. He looks like if Robert Patrick
Vanilla Ice.
had this same
That's
look.
what he looks like.
Yeah, I was about to say if he came out today and established himself as a rapper, people would eat that shit up.
Yeah,
because who the fuck? Oh, Robert. Yeah, I'm looking at I'm on IMDb, but you know how the trailer plays it, so I'm looking at it now. I really don't remember much from this movie. I just remember it used to come on cable a lot, and I always used to skip it. It just wasn't.
I used to like this movie when I was a kid.
I
used to like this movie as a kid. I used to rent it a lot. And then I watched it much later on in life when I'm just a little bit more wise. I was like, God damn, I cannot believe I actually like this bullshit. And you can totally tell those sets are made out of cardboard. Like, you want to talk about fucking broke? Talk about Jeepers Creepers Reborn sets in Double Dragon in 1993, dude. Like, those film cameras can hide a lot, but not a whole lot.
The special effects are terrible in this too, man.
Yes.
Like I'm looking at this. This is like fucking Virtuosity special effects right here.
Virtuosity is a good movie. Well, in my opinion, I like Virtuosity. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I think Virtuosity is an awesome movie. Russell Crowe, 6.7. Like, come on.
Listen, we need to mark that down. That's another one. Our unpopular movie opinions, the ones that we defend tooth and nail to the grave, where we be like, I don't give a fuck. I love this movie. We need that one. We need that one. We need that on the list. Double Dragon, bruh. Damn. Oh.
Yeah, fuck that movie, dude.
Alyssa Milano, were her and Robert Patrick related in this movie? They've got the same hairstyle, pretty much.
Yeah, I think
they do.
She's his daughter. And she leads like this rebel crew. It's bad, dude. It's terrible.
Yeah, Nils Allen Stewart. This guy looks familiar. He plays somebody in Double Dragon. He was in The Mask. He was in The Mask. He was in the Scorpion King, Space Cowboys, Planet of the Apes. I don't know who the fuck he plays, other than Bo Abobo, number one.
Yeah, he's one of the twins that transforms into something later on in the movie.
This motherfucker looks like Zangief from Street Fighter. Is who he looks like.
Yeah, they have like a lot of promising martial artists in this movie, and they do not fucking utilize them. And it's just
that's back when it was a blatant cash in to do video game adaptations. Like they didn't really give a fuck about source material and things like that to please the fans. They just wanted the title slapped on it and maybe a costume or two or three, and then that was it. They didn't give a shit about it back then. They really did.
Yeah, they didn't. Double Dragon is my number 5, dude. And these just get worse as we go up.
Oh, yes, they do. I'm glad you started with the worst because this about to get dark, brother. It's about to get real dark. My number 5 is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And it hurts. It hurts.
Why does that hurt?
Listen, I'm going to tell you why it hurts. It hurts because I was excited for this. And I remember going to the theater. To see this in 97. I remember my cousin, his brother, and one of our friends we went to school with. He took all of us to the movies to see it. And I was in the theater. We sat like a couple rows back. And I was just like, oh, my God. Cyrax and Motaro, Shiva, Raiden, multiple reptiles, Sindel, Smoke, Kitana's got the blades, Jax has got the arms, Shiva, everybody. I was like, oh my God, this is one of the best movie theater experiences ever. And like you said, then you watch it after a while when we get older, and it's like, this is one of the worst goddamn movies ever made. They just threw shit at us. They just threw shit at us, and they didn't care what the fuck the context was, what the fuck the story was about, where the fuck they came from. They just gave you everything. They threw everything at you but the kitchen sink.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And that is, listen, there's a lot of movies that do that. There's a lot of movies that throw a bunch of shit at you, and you're either going to accept it or you're not. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is one of those movies where it's like, okay, you basically gave me Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 in one movie. I can deal with that. Technically part 4 too, because Shinnok was in there. A lot of motherfuckers don't even know Shao Kahn's dad was supposed to be Shinnok. He doesn't even look like Shinnok in there. He's just got a fucking robe on, and he slides across the floor yelling at Shao Kahn. But you gave us the first 3 movies. That would have been okay if you would have just tried. They didn't try. Even Baraka's in there. And then when you go back and look at the effects on Baraka, you can see, it's like, I hate to say it, I love Return of the Living Dead, but you can see the mouth inside of the prosthetic mouth, like Tarman in Return of the Living Dead. When you see Baraka, the way the blades come out of his arms, you can see how bad it looks. Jade's in there for no reason at all, just to double cross the team. Nightwolf's in there, and he was the Indian in the fucking cupboard. He really was the Indian in the cupboard, and they had Nightwolf in there, one of the most badass characters who just popped up just to do nothing but have an animality. Then you had Shao Kahn, played by the guy who looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger's dick in the first Terminator movie. He's one of the 3 punks with Bill Paxton. He's one of those 3 punks. Yeah. He literally, go back and watch that scene where he walks up to those 3 punks and says, "Nice night for a walk." That dude who plays Shao Kahn, Brian Thompson, looks down at Arnold Schwarzenegger's penis. He does. And there's no getting around that shit, bro. It's no getting around that. Like, when you watch Terminator, you're like, yo, did you just really size up that man's dick? He did. He did. And listen.
Hey, it was all in character. It was all in character.
But then it's like, and then they didn't give a fuck. Listen, the plans, if you go back and look up the plans that they had for the original Mortal Kombat 3, Christopher Lambert was supposed to come back. Lyndon Ashby was supposed to come back. Bridget Wilson was supposed to come back. And then you gave us Sandra Hess, James Raymar, fucking, the stocky neck Eric McGowan from the next Karate Kid played Johnny Cage. Yeah. Melina pops up with no explanation and just dies off. It's all over the fucking place, man. And I hate it because it's there's no context to anything. A lot of people want to talk shit about Mortal Kombat 2021, but it's way better and closer to the game than Mortal Kombat Annihilation was. They didn't give a shit. They were just like,
are even a lot better than than Annihilation. Annihilation again has the same problem as any of these other movies, because Annihilation fight scenes are very choppy. Like the scene between Sonya and Melina when they're fighting, that was like they were basically mud wrestling. That's what they were doing.
That should have been one of the greatest female fight sequences of all time. Time. And they were getting dirty, and I'm like, okay. Like, Melina has always been my favorite. Like, next to Sindel, Melina is my favorite female fighter in Mortal Kombat. Hands fucking down. Used to whoop ass with her at the arcade. Hands fucking down.
Forward, down, high kick, and then you.
What?
The teleport kick?
You know, the teleport kick. What?
Yeah.
And then you hold. Listen, I think it was high punch. You hold high punch, and she throws the size at you. What?
Yeah.
Come on now. The real ones know. People, let me explain something to y'all on R&D Live. We are geeks, self-proclaimed geeks, and it pays off in these episodes. I'm telling y'all, It's not in vain. It is not in vain. We know we'll make it come full circle every time. But yeah, man, like they just didn't try. They didn't try at all, man. All the recasting, and they didn't give a fuck about it. And they had plans for a part 3, and it was just like they just chalked it. I mean, I'm glad that they did, because had they would have continued after Mortal Kombat Annihilation, it would have been a big fucking problem. The guy who did Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I can't remember his I think his name was John.
The director, John Linetti. I think he did Wish Upon.
That's it. That's right. Yeah, he did. I was about to say he did some type of horror movie afterwards or some shit, like a couple years after.
So he's done.
And it's like
Wish Upon, Annabelle, The Butterfly Effect, Wolves at the Door, and The Silence. Butterfly.
The first one?
Effect 2. Sorry. No, I misspoke. Butterfly Effect 2. I thought it said.
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh, he did the first one. I was about to say. But it's like, and it's not like he's an incompetent director. He can be good, but that, and then it's like the green screen.
I have yet to see a movie that he's directed that has been good or directly competent. So I'm just saying, from my point of view, I don't think John Leonetti is a competent director. That's just. Also, too, he said some shit about Tobe Hooper that he shouldn't have said on a podcast. That's another reason why I don't fuck with that dude. He said that Spielberg directed Poltergeist and not Tobe Hooper.
No. Listen, I'm not even the biggest, like, if you ask me my top 10 horror type of films, I'm not the type to put Poltergeist in there. I love the movie, but I'm a Poltergeist 3 guy, but I know for a fact, while that is not the craziest movie I've ever seen, Tobe Hooper was the guy for it. I couldn't see anybody else directing. John R. Leonetti was not the motherfucker.
Because the only reason he said it because he was a lighting assistant at the time while he was working on that film. And there's a picture of Spielberg and Tobe Hooper floating around on the internet on the set of Poltergeist. Holy shit. You all right?
I almost fucking choked just now. Hold up. So he was an assistant on Poltergeist, and he's just a disgruntled employee, and he's like, well, I should have directed it. It's like, they told him to go get some sandwiches, go make a store run, and go get some fucking sandwiches. And he was, listen, I'm sorry to bring up some old shit. That's the Rick Rosenthal shit. Rick Rosenthal, they were like, yeah, you can direct Halloween 2, but John Carpenter's all set, motherfucker, so we need you to step back a little bit, let him get behind the camera, you can watch, but you're not going to sit in this chair. And Rick Rosenthal, they told him he could direct Halloween Resurrection, and he's like, I'll have my revenge, and I'll make this the worst
fuck this movie up.
Fuck that. he said he should have directed Poltergeist. Fuck you, buddy. I'm sorry. Fuck.
No, I mean,
you.
no. He said Spielberg directed Poltergeist. That's like the rumor. Like Steven
Oh.
Spielberg directed Poltergeist.
I'm saying. I thought you were saying that he
No,
said
no, no,
that
no.
he should have
At that
directed
time, he was
Poltergeist.
an assistant. He hasn't made his bones yet. He's a nobody. But he
Okay.
was on set. He was saying, yes, Steven Spielberg had directed Poltergeist, not
Ooh.
Tobe Hooper.
So he was dropping gems. He was like, "Yo, I ain't gonna tell nobody else." But
Months following that, a lot of people that worked on Poltergeist said, no, Toby was the one that was directing the movie.
Listen, maybe we should get John R. Leonetti on the show, bro. I don't know. Maybe we need these inside stories. Maybe we need these inside stories, man. I don't even know. If he's smart, he will have it. Like, look, I'm not going to hate on it entirely. If there's one thing I do love about the Mortal Kombat Annihilation movie, before we like move on and shit, as far as like the majority of the costume design, Cyrax looked badass. Jax looked badass. Shiva, no, not so much. I like the actress they got to play her, but it's like, yo, you just duplicated her arms in CG. Mataro could have looked badass, but when you see Mataro in full form, he looks terrible. The CG full Mataro looks terrible. 3 Reptiles was cool. I love Sindel. Her hair should have been all white. And Talisa Soto, you know, she I don't know what nationality she is, but she Talisa Soto. She just had a birthday like last month. Let me shut the fuck up. But yeah, man, like the costume design for the most, and it was cool to see Smoke. Also, you got Nicolas Cage 2.0 playing Sub-Zero's brother. Like he just popped up, no explanation. Scorpion came back, no explanation, and instead of a snake, Scorpion had crocodiles coming out of his fucking string. It was just a mess, man. It was a mess of ideas, and it just didn't hit, man. It didn't fall. Like when you watch it as an adult, it's like, damn, I just accepted any old fucking thing that they threw at us. But Mortal Kombat Annihilation is my number 5, man. It hurt to put it on the list. It did.
Fuck that movie. Fuck that movie. Fuck that movie. That's all I'm going to say. That movie will be coming up in a little bit, too. So, my number 4, Max Payne. Let's
talk about it. Can we tag team this one? Because that's my number 2, right?
Okay, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, Max fucking Payne, dude. What were you guys thinking? What were you thinking? Casting a Boston dude as a New Yorker. Get the fuck out of here. That's one problem. Also, another two, like, Mark Wahlberg is way too young at the time to be Max Payne. Like, that should have been Mel Gibson had he not dropped that rant. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. That would have been Mel fucking Gibson had he not dropped that rant. That's exactly who that would have been.
Yo, Mel?
Yeah.
Yo. That would have been like
some money too.
That would have been some low key, like had he not went on that rant, it would have been on some low key Lethal Weapon character, Edge of Darkness type of character. Yo, listen, I'm not gonna say I disagree with you. That would have been crazy, yo. Because Max Payne,
I remember playing the game. I remember playing the game. Yeah, 2008. I remember playing the game, and we all said if this was ever a movie, it should be Mel Gibson. This should have been
Max Payne
Gibson. Because
that game,
when you look at the comic strips, if you look at the comic strip, he has the hair, the jawline. You can totally see that being Mel.
Ooh, I didn't know John Moore directed this. That's the same director as A Good Day to Die Hard. Oh, it all makes sense. That motherfucker can't direct action to save his life. Sorry, John Moore. Sorry.
The bathroom scene should have been a standout set piece.
Yes.
But it is not.
Yes.
It is not.
You know why? Because when you played the game, the bathroom sequence was like that was. Now, all right, what came out first, the Matrix or
Matrix?
The Max Payne video game?
Matrix.
Okay,
Max
so
Payne took the
Max
bullet
Payne,
time theory from Matrix.
that's where I was going with that, was the whole bullet time thing. But I feel like Max Payne did it in a way where it was introduced via video game, and it was just so badass, man. You had like the little capsule that was in that was in the screen when you did it. Like it was just the game, the story, the game. It was like gritty crime thriller.
Yeah.
Brought to game consoles for everybody. And when I remember, I went to the theater to see this shit, and we all walked out. It was me and a bunch of my homies, man. And we walked out. We were like, this shit was ass. Like, I don't. And where the fuck did the angels come from? The winged devil angels, where'd they come from? Was that
so they're Valkyries, and so they're not mentioned in the game, but there's a lot of Valkyrie symbolism throughout the game. Like one of the club is called Ragnarok, but it's actually called Ragnan and Rock, but the letters are blacked out, so it says Ragnarok. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So there are like Valkyrie symbolism throughout the game, but the Valkyries don't really exist. And within the movie, it's supposed to be like a hallucination, much like how in Dread, where you know how they take that drug.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be the same thing.
The one with Carl Urban, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know something.
And so you have a great cast. You have Chris Bridges. Yeah. Chris O'Donnell. You have both Bridges. Olga Karolinko.
It was good to see Ludacris in here, but Ludacris was not good in this movie.
No, he wasn't. I think this was his first role, like his first major role in the movie.
Like big role, yeah. Because he had only been in I think he had only been in like The Wash
prior.
He'd been in like TV shows. He was in The Wash. He was in Gamer. He wasn't in anything that really required a lot from him, like acting wise. Yeah. And I think this was after Fast and Furious, but he wasn't like consistently in Fast 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but Mila Kunis, they wasted her. Chris O'Donnell, I forgot he was even in here.
Yeah, he only has like 10 minutes of screen time because he's the DEA agent that dies in the subway scene. In the game, that's his partner. That's Max's partner. But in the movie, they made it a DEA agent as his handler.
Nelly Furtado is in here, the singer. Hold up. She plays somebody named Krista Balder. I did not know Nelly Furtado was in here. Maybe it's time to go back on this. I put it on the list because I know for a fact that I used to play the original. Maybe not so much 2 and 3, but I put it on my list as my number 2 because I remember a theater experience expecting the first video game of Max Payne. And I was so fucking it's one of the most boring video game adaptations that I've ever seen.
And you have Jamie Hector in here. You have Marlo Stanfield in this fucking movie as a Haitian drug lord, and you waste him also. Like, what? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like,
that's your boy, John Moore, man.
God,
John Moore.
And he says like it's funny because he said in an interview like I was trying to appease the fans, blah blah blah. No, you weren't, motherfucker, because that shit is terrible. You could have stretched out this movie so much.
This guy he's got a hard on for existing properties. Okay, we got A Good Day to Die Hard in 2013, which was fucking garbage, the worst of the Die Hard movies. And I thought that, listen, I think that it's not terrible, but I used to think Die Hard 2 was the worst until I saw A Good Day to Die Hard. John Moore.
You thought Die Hard 2 was the worst?
Not the worst, but like I don't hate any of the Die Hard movies, but as far as the weakest link in the chain, I always thought it was Die Hard 2. Like, I don't hate it. It's okay. I love it. It's cool, but as far as like where I rank them, I got Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Fuck. What?
That's a whole other topic. I done opened up a fucking can of worms.
Oh, man. Come Christmas time, bro. We revisiting all the Die Hards, bro. That's just that.
Yo,
that's that.
We can listen. We can because I feel like I need to figure out a proper ranking for it. Especially because come Christmas time, we definitely need to do that the Die Hard ranking because Bruce Willis. Prayers up to Bruce Willis. We're never going to get that Die Hard movie again, man. We're never going to get that Die Hard sequel that we wanted. But I say all that to say this: he did Good Day to Die Hard. He did Max Payne in 2008, and in 2006 he did the Omen remake. I literally was just watching that, and
talk about a boring fucking remake. Oh my god!
I just posted it. There's an upside for me. I posted it in my story a couple nights ago, and I said this is the best decapitation scene one of the best decapitation scenes that I've ever seen in a movie.
I saw that too, and I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" I saw it and I was like, "Wait, decapitate? Did I read that right?"
Yeah, that was a good sequence. Other than the rest of the movie was garbage. I like Lee Schreiber. I love Lee Schreiber.
He did do Behind Enemy Lines, and that was a solid fucking movie with Owen Wilson. Where Owen Wilson is a fighter pilot and he gets trapped in Yugoslavia.
I've never seen it.
You never seen Behind Enemy Lines?
I've never seen it.
That's a perfect Thanksgiving movie right there.
Owen Wilson, David Keith. Oh, they got the guy who was the villain in Fast Five, Joaquin de Almeida. I don't know. Y'all know I fuck up at these names. I don't know. I didn't know who did Behind Enemy Lines is like, at one point in time where we were getting all these types of movies that were like of this type of subgenre. It was like The General's Daughter and Behind Enemy Lines and In the Line of Fire. Not In the Line of Fire, but I've always felt like all these movies were all the same. So I kind of like unfairly put them all in a box and didn't watch them.
Oh, dude.
I've never seen Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson's a serious actor in here?
Yeah. And that...
Oh.
Dude. And I wish Owen Wilson did more roles like that because, goddamn, dude, like, he was so good in that movie. Owen Wilson? We're talking about someone being typecasted. That motherfucker got typecasted hard because Behind Enemy Lines, dude, is a fire fucking movie. There's a mine sequence in here that is intense.
I'm looking at the trailer. There's no sound, but I'm like looking at the trailer, but then never mind. It went off. It said owned it on DVD. So.
Oh, you're watching the DVD spot? I saw that.
Yeah, it was on IMDb. That shit just started playing by itself. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Max Payne was, I guess, I don't know. I guess you can go next because I had Max Payne on my list as my number 2, but you had it as number 4.
That was my number 4. So what would be your 3? Yeah, Max Payne was ass though. That was just a boring remake.
Straight up garbage, bro. Straight up garbage. I'm glad you put it on your list. I'm glad you put it on your list because it's fucking trash, man. Like that is some of, I feel like in my lifetime, Max Payne goes up there with The Fog, the others, certain movies that I paid money to see where I'm like, now I gotta go back and watch the others. I know what you're about to say.
No. That's not why I was doing this because I had a good idea. And it came to me right now. Dude. This is what they should do. This is what they should do. Oh my God. This is what they should do. Yo, if they ever redo Max Payne, the anniversary's coming up soon, and they're doing a remake for the PS5. And if you want to get people excited for Max Payne, you want to make a fucking Max Payne movie, this is what you motherfucking do. You hire the guy that did John Wick, the director, John Wick. You cast Denzel Washington as Max fucking Payne because he comes off as a seasoned detective and he's from New York. That's also a plus. I need that. I need a character actor from New York to play Max Payne. That's just that. Because Max Payne is a New Yorker through and through. It doesn't matter. That's what you do, man. That's what you do. Because he's doing Equalizer 3, it'll make sense for him to, like, do that. I don't want to see Liam Neeson be motherfucking Max Payne. As much as I like Liam Neeson.
Listen, Liam Neeson, 118 goddamn years old. I'm fucking tired. Listen, people kiss Liam Neeson's ass, yo. And I'm not that guy. If it's not fucking Darkman, if it's not Run All Night, if it's not little
Run All Night, I still gotta see that one. I remember you recommended that one to me. You said that was actually a sleeper, so I gotta watch that one.
Straightforward. It's one of those Run All Night for me. It's one of those anxiety-inducing movies where you are fighting for your life. You are running for your life the entire night to stay alive. Judgment Night, Run All Night, Green Room, not as brutal as Green Room, nowhere near as brutal, but it's literally Liam Neeson, a retired bad motherfucker who's got to save Joel Kinnaman, a.k.a. everybody's favorite RoboCop. He's got to save him from cops. He's got to save him from gangsters. Yeah, you caught that?
I totally forgot he was Murphy. I totally forgot that he was Murphy. Oh my god. Yeah.
Listen, I almost killed myself because you didn't catch it at first. I saw your reaction. I'm like, oh, you caught that shit? Listen, Joel Kinnaman, listen, for the record, Joel Kinnaman is not a bad actor. But in RoboCop, I feel like
picks bad roles.
RoboCop, it wasn't a Listen, I'm gonna go out on record and I'm gonna just say I like the cast in the RoboCop remake better than the original. Now, the first movie, Paul Verhoeven, you can't recreate that. Now, where they fucked up was not only did they know that they couldn't recreate that, it was the fact that you couldn't recreate it and you made it PG-13. Why would you do that? Like, take notes from shit like Dredd. Dredd was like, oh, Sylvester Stallone, one of the biggest action stars in the world, in a PG-13 post-apocalyptic movie. Let's make it rated R and put the underdog Carl Urban in there. Let's do that. And let's make it better than the original.
This cast for Run All Night, dude. You got Ed Harris, you got Vincent D'Onofrio, you got Genesis Rodriguez, Boyd Holbrook, Malcolm Goodwin, Holt McCallany, Bruce McGill, Nick Nolte, Common.
It's decent, bro. It's decent. It went under the radar. It really went under the radar, honestly. I thought it was pretty good, man, because it's straightforward. Like, there's not a lot of plot twists and, you know, crazy things they throw at you. It is straightforward. Yo, this happened. Liam Neeson has to protect Joel Kinnaman as his son and his kids and his wife at some point. And, you know, he's running from everybody that Ed Harris has gunning for this motherfucker. And Liam Neeson is not even the target. His son is. Ed Harris is on the phone with Liam Neeson. It's not a spoiler, but Ed Harris is on the phone with Liam Neeson at some point, and he's like, listen, man, when all of this is over and done and I kill your son, I'm going to meet you right here at this table. So you can see the pain that I had to go through type of shit. And I'll see you then. And Liam Neeson's like, listen, I'm not going to let you take my son, man. I'm going to kill all these motherfuckers you throw my way type of thing. Common's in the mix because he works for Ed Harris. He works for Ed Harris, and he's an assassin. Common does what he does.
This was practice for John Wick 2, huh?
Yeah. And Common, that is when he was already in Smoking Aces. That's when he plays his best shit. Smoking Aces, Run All Night, John Wick 2, even Terminator Salvation to a certain extent, but they didn't give him a lot of shit to do in that movie.
Nah, he was supposed to have a bigger role, but they cut it down.
Yeah, they let him say, hey, my brother, he didn't make it, did he? And Christian Bale's like, no, like, go back to the show, like, your scene's over. Like, yeah, he definitely did have the Batman trick ring voice in that shit.
Yup, yeah, he did. All right, so what's your number 3? What's your worst video game? What's on the number 3 spot?
My number 3 spot is let's just come out and say it. Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. Not Street Fighter, because I appreciate the fuck out of the Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia one, even if it is cheesy. I don't care. It's cheesy. Yeah. I love it. I would never turn my back on that movie. That movie's got me through some rough days. But Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. Let me look this up real quick so I know exactly how to pronounce this director's name, who I never can pronounce. Andrzej Bartolku. Listen, people, y'all know I fuck these names up. I don't, unless we get like Alexa or some shit or a translator on here. I don't know this director. Yeah, I don't know that director's name, but he is the same guy who gave us Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, Cradle to the Grave. Hold up. Let me
Go
know.
ahead, say it. Say it. Say it.
Oh, he
4
gave
years
us
prior.
Doom.
Yeah.
He gave us Doom, which was, listen, and he was a cinematographer on Speed, but he gave us Doom. I forgot. Now, and I'll say this before I tear into this shit. There's one thing I will always respect about this director, and it is the same thing that I've always respected about directors like Steven Sommers. Um, he has a really good sense of multicultural casting. He will give you your whites, your blacks, your Asians, your Pakistanis, whatever it is you need. He'll give you multicultural casting. I love the diversity side of things. But I feel like he got a little too big for his bridges at one point. Romeo Must Die was the movie where he tried to bridge the gap between blacks and Asians, and that's fine. That movie was decent, but you go back on it, and a lot of it doesn't hold up. Then he did shit like Exit Wounds. Then he did shit like Cradle to the Grave. And rest in peace to the late great DMX. We just passed, I think either yesterday or the day, today or yesterday or the day before, was the anniversary of DMX's death, man, and that was rough. But this guy he took such a crazy liking to DMX where he thought that DMX was going to be the next big action star. And I am honest enough to say that I don't think that was a good idea. DMX is not the worst rapper turned actor, but he's definitely not an action star. Cradle to the Grave and all that other shit where he's like driving ATVs through windows and buildings and shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because if these motherfuckers in Fast and Furious can do it, why not? But I say all that to say this. I respect the guy for his multicultural casting, and I respect the hell out of his ambition. The guy's got crazy ambition, and he's got a crazy vision. But coming off the late heels of the Street Fighter movie, that was what, 95? You made a movie that doesn't even match up to the goofiness of that original Street Fighter movie. This shit's terrible. Chris Klein and listen, I love Moon Bloodgood. Let me tag her right now because Moon Bloodgood is definitely underrated as fuck. But Moon Bloodgood,
Vega? Taboo as Vega?
Yeah, from fucking Black Eyed Peas, bro. From Black Eyed Peas, bro. That's him.
Just because
that is him.
Just because he. Well, yeah, no, Taboo is Mexican, but Vega is Spaniard.
He's from Spain.
It doesn't even
now,
matter.
on Street Fighter, when the plane goes from place to place, when you fight in the campaign mode, it's Spain. He's Spanish. Street Fighter is something that is very particular about the nationalities of these fighters, bro. And Kristen Cruick, nothing against Kristen Cruick. I wasn't a big Smallville fan, but she is not Chun-Li. She's not Chun-Li. And then you had your boy. What's your boy's name? Lee McDonough.
Yeah, Lee McDonough. Lee McDonough. Yeah.
Now, listen, I almost called him Michael B. Jordan, but rest in peace, shout out to Michael Clark Duncan. Balrog, okay, I'll buy that. Even the casting for Vega, but you didn't do shit with those two characters. And then you had the audacity to put Robin Shou, our generation's Liu Kang, in the movie as what? The trainer? Or Kristen Cruick, Chun-Li? Come on, man. Like, the movie's bad. There's no memorable moments. The action sequences suck. The fight sequences suck. The story is garbage. And the one chance you had to make, like you said with Max Payne, when you said the bathroom sequence should have been the standout moment, there should have been a standout moment where Chun-Li and Vega run into each other in this alleyway sequence. That was your opportunity to take the animated movie shit where Chun-Li and Vega fight in the bedroom and all throughout the house. You could have recreated that live action, and you did nothing with it. It was a garbage-ass scene. Now, Vega's mask is cool. His claws are cool. But there's nothing here that even tops the goofiness of the 1995 movie. And it's sad. Like, when you can't top something like that, it's time to hang it up, bro. It's time to hang it up. It's bad. It's bad, man. This is a bad movie. It's bad. And I didn't want to. It's crazy when I can't put Street Fighter 95 on there, and I gotta put this shit. Like y'all was supposed to be like, okay, this
and
is
it's not
how
even
you
a
do
high
it.
bar to exceed.
It's not. And you managed to set the bar lower. Like when you remake a remake, or when you do something over, it's supposed to be on some. All right, I know they fucked y'all over. Let me show y'all how I'ma do this shit. But it's like you look at it, it's like this is how you do
Yeah,
this shit, and everybody walks out
this
the
is
theater.
what you gave us. What the fuck?
Yeah, everybody walks out of the theater wanting their money back. This movie was awful, man. And it's another movie again that's forgettable as shit. It really is, man. It's so terrible, and it's so like the like Moon Bloodgood. She plays a detective here. I wish that she was just in a better movie. I like her a lot, man. And I'm not just saying this because I follow her on Instagram. I'm just saying. I'm not saying this because I tagged her in our show. And I'm not saying this because I want her on the show so I can ask her what led her to this and what led her to Terminator Salvation.
Like your TikTok earlier with your Bad Boys TikTok. Yeah, that was a great save, dude. Great save.
When I saw your comment with that shit, I was like, damn. Yeah, because I was trying not to.
Like I saw where you were going with it, but then you landed the punchline one bar ahead, dude. You had the punchline at bar 2. You should have been at bar 4. Like, come on, you're a rapper. You should have. You used to rap. You should know this.
I fucked that. I fucked that, no pun intended, up completely, man. Because there was no getting around that shit.
Yeah.
There was no getting around it. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, wait, am I saying the right thing? So I just fucked it up. Let me just end it and just ask everybody what they think. Like type of shit. Yeah, man. Yeah, but yeah, that was my number. What number are we on? Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, man.
Yeah, well,
yeah, and
speaking of unforgettable, forgettable pieces of cinema, Doom.
Are you serious?
Doom. Yeah, that's no, man. Nah.
That's on my honorable mentions list, bro. Damn it.
Doom's on my number 3. I had to put it on there.
I was, oh, fingers crossed. I was like, oh, Johnny might appreciate the cheesiness of this shit. God damn.
Watched it. I tried to watch it, and the cast is actually kind of like spectacular. But Doom, like you do the one thing you're not supposed to do, and you make it a first-person shooter at the fucking end of the movie. Yeah. Like,
yeah. That was a great fucking segue,
stupid.
by the way. That was a great segue, by the way.
Because it was by the same director.
Yeah, that was a great segue, sir. Good shit. Damn, man, I didn't know you was gonna put Doom on your list.
Yeah, there was no way in hell that I was gonna watch Doom 2 Annihilation. There was no way that I was gonna watch that shit.
You told me you were like, you told me you were like, yo, don't watch this shit. Oh man.
Mortal Kombat 2 Annihilation looks like a fucking masterpiece compared to Doom 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, dude. Doom, I mean, this was The Rock, this was Carl Urban, this was really great casting.
Richard Brake from
Richard Brake, yeah. Rosen Pike, so there's good things about it, but the thing is that this movie does not play up the suspense, nor does it play up the action. It takes a long time to really get it going. Like, as soon as they touch down, the shit should already be hitting the fan. But it takes another 15 minutes for shit to hit the fan. Like, come on, like, get to it.
They gotta look for survivors and all of that. And it's a couple little subplots in there, too, that take things to get... No, I see where you're going as far as, like, when it takes things to get going. Like, as soon as they get there, you see... I can't remember the dude's name, but the dude that just has no lower torso, he has to pull up and explain things. And, they've got to do... Everybody's got to break off, and they've got to hunt down these corridors. I felt like that was part of the game, like, where you got to hunt down these little small corridors and all that other shit. But I didn't know.
But see, I think for me also, like, when I was making this list, like, the reason Double Dragon and the reason the list it is here is because I played these games. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I look at these games and I have like a very I have a strong connection to them. Double Dragon, I played when I grew up. Max Payne is one of my favorite PS2 games. Doom, that was like the first game I snuck into the computer lab to play. You know what I mean? I wasn't supposed to. You know, so
Real shit. I
went to go and just like think, oh, this is gonna be cool. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't cool. It was like, man, it's not even a Doom movie. You know what you made? You made Red Faction. That was the movie that you gave us. I don't know if you ever played Red Faction for the PS1.
I've heard of it. I've never played it. Dark Daddy says Dredd versus Hobbs, and he said, didn't one of the dudes go to that bathroom in the church? What the fuck?
I think that was Richard Brake. Yeah.
He was a freak ass motherfucker from the rip. He was like, I'm gonna get me a bottle of tequila and find 3 she-boys. It's like that motherfucker's wild in every movie he's in. Even in Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, he's like, I heard about fucking corpses back in Essex.
Yeah.
Like, what? But dude, oh man, I did not know that was gonna be on your list.
You know, I do appreciate that this is like it's kind of like a variation of Dwayne Johnson's, like, you know, trajectory. Because this one, he plays a bad guy. And he plays a real bad guy toward the end. And I can appreciate that aspect of it. But when you see how his career has turned out, like, this is like the only anomaly. But this and Walking Tall are the only 2 anomalies in his career when you really look at it. Because in Walking Tall, he gets his ass beat and he gets carved the fuck up like a Christmas turkey. And in Doom, he's a bad motherfucker, dude. He's a bad dude, you know?
Yeah. Off the rip, and he just gets more and more, like, corrupted. Like, that's one of the things about The Rock is I always, I don't remember where or when I said this. I've always said that The Rock, I want him to play an uncompromised villain. Even in Doom, he is a villain. He's a bad motherfucker. But it's compromised. It's like the more and more they explore this space station, the crazier he gets, like on some Jack Nicholson, The Shining type shit.
Yeah.
I don't even want to compare that to it. But that's like the comparison that came to mind.
Could compare it to because he starts losing his mind.
And he starts killing his own men and shit like that. He starts barking different orders. And, when you find survivors, shoot them in the head type of shit. But it's always a compromised villain with The Rock, man. That's one of the reasons why I was like, fuck it. Like, cast him as a fucking Terminator. Somebody that is, even in, what's the movie? Faster. He's a compromised villain. And he's not even really the villain in that case, because these are the guys that did him and his brother dirty and left them for dead. So he's just getting revenge. Even in Fast and Furious, The Rock, we look at The Rock like he's the villain because we're so attached to Vin Diesel and Paul Walker and Jordana Brewster and the crew, but The Rock is actually the lawman. He's doing the right thing. He's trying to take these criminals down. So we look at him like he's the villain, but I want The Rock to be in a movie where he is not compromised. He is just straightforward. I'm a bad guy. I'm going to fuck shit up. Even Black Adam. Well, this is why I killed everybody, because my son was beheaded back in 1902. And it's like, come on, man. Can we not get a fucking backstory every time where we feel bad for you? Like, dude, it was okay, though. I mean, it was, like, as far as The Rock and Doom. All right, well, let me ask you this. How did you feel the first time you saw that, when Carl Urban wiped that blood off?
Shit. I remember I was sitting in the fucking handicap section because that was the only section that was, like, available. I was sitting in the fucking bottom right corner. I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, fuck this movie. I could have fucking stayed my ass home and rented this shit instead. You know what I mean? Instead, I had to walk fucking 15 miles out of my way to go to the fucking theater on a Friday night and go watch it at 9 p.m. and then walk home at 12:30 pissed the fuck off because that was some bullshit. Fuck that movie. Fuck that movie. For real.
Oh, man, that was in I'm glad I didn't put it in my best of. Like, you just fucking tore that shit apart. Like,
fuck that movie. Dark Daddy 831, all work and no play makes Dwayne a dull boy.
It does. It does make Dwayne a dull boy, man. Like that's who he was. He gradually got crazier and crazier. He's like, kid. His eyes start getting wider. He's like, I told you to kill all the survivors. And then he shot Kid in the neck. He shot Kid in the neck, and he's like, I need soldiers. I need soldiers out here. The movie's crazy.
Yeah, it was fucking ass.
Little tie-in from Doom to Resident Evil. The guy, one of the black guys, not the one that played Destroyer, but the other guy, I can't remember his name. The one that was flirting with Rosamund Pike. He's actually in Resident Evil Apocalypse. He's in Resident Evil Apocalypse. He plays Claire Redfield's partner in Resident Evil Apocalypse. He's in both Resident Evil Apocalypse and Doom. I can't remember that dude's name though. Let me actually.
Razin Adadi or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another video game guy, which is cool. That's cool.
Yeah, he's Apocalypse. Yeah, he was in Apocalypse.
Peyton, that was his name. His name was Peyton in Resident Evil Apocalypse. I actually felt really sad when he died. Felt really sad because you could tell Jill Valentine and him were either best friends or they were fucking, in their spare time on Force. So, yeah. God damn, man,
Doom. Oh, fuck that.
Damn.
Fuck that.
What?
Fuck that.
All right, what are we on? What number are we on right now? Woo! It's two. You ain't gonna like this one. My number 2, and rightfully goddamn so. Let me pull it up on IMDb so I am ready. My number 2 on my worst of list is Super Mario Brothers, 1993. I know, bro. I know.
I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Going on my list. You knew it was going on my list, especially after I saw the new one. Yeah. I was like, "Oh, this is how you do it, Montel Jordan. This shit." Listen,
such a guilty pleasure for me, though. I ain't gonna front.
Even as a kid. No, listen, there's an intoxic commentary loading for this movie, trust me. But even as a kid, I didn't quite understand what was going on in this movie. I'm like, okay, I felt like I could tolerate it because as a kid, we had the early VHS tapes of the Super Mario Brothers TV series. Mm-hmm. And you remember the guys that dressed up like Mario and Luigi? And I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. Like, I can deal with a live action, Mario and Luigi. John Leguizamo. I didn't know John Leguizamo so much so back then when I was a kid. I knew Bob Hoskins from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I recognized Dennis Hopper from some things and things like that. But other than that, the only things that this movie got right for me was the Babam. That was it. That was it. The Babam is the only thing that is spot fucking on in this movie. One of my biggest gripes might be a nitpick, but Yoshi was not. Now I know there's different colors and different variations, and he spits out different
fucking shit. Baby Velociraptor. That's what it is.
Yoshi was in green. Princess Daisy and Koopa had the fucking ruffles in his hair. His wife Iggy and Spike were just dumb. The chick that had the big, the crystal between them big ass titties. Big Bertha, wasn't she supposed to be the fish or something?
Yeah, she was supposed to be the fish.
This movie made no fucking sense at all. Big Bertha, if there's one plus I gotta give it, is Big Bertha's titties. It's Big Bertha's titties, and it's the fact that John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins were drunk as fuck while they were filming this movie. That is one of the pluses I have to give this shit. Other than that, this movie is a fucking mess. Daisy's father came down as the mold or the fungus, the mushroom, the fungus, and all that shit. Okay. Nothing made sense. And then when you had the opportunity to have Koopa turn into Koopa at the end with the devolve gun. I think it was called the devolve gun or something like that.
Yeah.
You turned him into...
And you know what? You know what? That was so fucking blatant of them, too, because you know what they used for the D-ball gun? The fucking SNES Super Scoper. You product placing motherfuckers, you.
Never noticed that until just now. Never noticed that until just now. And y'all didn't even...
I remember the only reason I knew that was because I remember watching it because I didn't see this in the theater. We went to go see Jurassic Park instead opening weekend.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
Yeah.
What a critical and good decision y'all fucking made.
Yeah. I mean, I was sick, so I didn't really have a say in the matter, so it didn't matter. But I remember renting this when it came out on VHS, and I remember the Super Scoper thing, right? And he was using that shit. And I had gone over to my friend's house, and he had the Super Scoper. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is from Super Mario Bros. The movie. He's like, no, this is the light gun for the SNES. Like, no. So, yeah, and he showed me the box. It was a Super Scope. It's like, oh, my fucking God. And just like, ding. Like, you product placing motherfuckers. You would let King Koopa use the fucking Super Scoper, but you wouldn't let Freddy use the Power Glove? Fuck out of here.
And this came out after Freddy's dead, right?
Yeah, after. And after Freddy used the Power Glove stole like crazy.
Of course it did. Because everybody wanted it. Everybody wanted it after seeing Freddy dead.
And the fucking thing never worked.
Nah. It's like fucking, you got a better chance of, I don't know what better chance you have. It's like the Power Glove or Virtual Boy. Remember Virtual Boy where you were fucking shut
I had Virtual Boy. No, I didn't have Virtual Boy. My friend Torres had it. We played the tennis on there. Mario Tennis. That shit was fire, dude, on Virtual Boy.
I don't remember that shit ever working. I don't remember it working unless I got a defective ass. The early ones I remember were Virtual Boy and what was it, Jaguar? Atari Jaguar?
Oh, bruh.
Tempest 2000 and Dragon, the Bruce Lee story on fucking on Atari Jaguar? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See, they're not going to understand what we talk about. They're not going to understand what we talk about. They don't know about
Jaguar, bro. They don't know about Jaguar. Jaguar is like the fucking, like, the off-brand Sega.
Harold. Thank you, Gamer Harold. He said we're cool. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you tuning in to our to our shenanigans, talking about these video game movies. Anybody that's tuning in, man, give us y'all favorite or worst video game adaptations while y'all are in here. You know, let's make this shit interesting. We're already at odds here. All right, so yeah, Super Mario Brothers was my number 2.
Yeah.
So what's your?
My number 2 is we already covered it. MK Annihilation. That's a fucking horrible movie. My number 1. I'd be surprised if this is not your number 1 also, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm so surprised that fucking this infamous director has not made an appearance yet. So I'm waiting to see if he's made an appearance yet. So let's see. Am I going or are you going? I'm going? Okay. My number 1, House of the Dead.
Woo!
Yes.
Listen, there's a reason the movie gods and the podcast gods put us together, sir. Because that is my number. Ooh, listen, let's go.
Uwe Boll should never direct another fucking movie ever. He should not be directing this movie.
Ever again. Ooh, I didn't even think that there was. I never had a thought that House of the Dead would even be on your worst of list.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I don't know if we've talked about it or not, but I wasn't sure if you saw it. That is literally my number 1 on my list.
They had thought that.
Let's go. Go ahead.
So check this out. We talked earlier how I had a Dreamcast, right? One of the first games I got was House of the Dead 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a great
So
game,
I
right?
had got the Dreamcast for my birthday, along with a double of the House of the Dead DVD.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen House of the Dead at that point in time. I knew there was a movie of it. I saw the trailer online. I was like, okay, whatever. I saw this movie and I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? This is garbage. Why would you intersplice video game scene
Cutscenes.
in the fucking movie? Like, are you really trying to hammer home that you like, oh look, I'm so cool, I played the game. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Motherfucking
Yo.
Boy was fucking streaming before streaming was even a thing. He was filming his progress through the levels and ended up slicing them. And you ever notice that it's the same fucking level?
That was his way to be
level?
cool and edgy. He was trying to be cool and edgy. Oh, I'm gonna put this when somebody shoots somebody or hacks somebody, we're gonna put the little video game.
I'm gonna do bullet time. I'm gonna do all kinds of crazy shit. I don't know what the fuck this dude was thinking. This dude must have fucking just did a whole bunch of cocaine and just went on an island and said, look, man, I got zombies. I got adult models. We're just going to make a movie.
Now, I will say this. All right, hold up. Gamer Harold said Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 are best. Mortal Kombat Annihilation and Street Fighter are the worst. Okay. All right. Listen, Gamer Harold said we'll get to that because he said Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 are the best. I like it the way you think, sir. I do. Let me say this: if I can give House of the Dead any positives before we rip this son of a bitch to shreds, because I was ready. I had no idea this was on your list, bro. I'm ready to fucking tear this shit apart. But let me give it a positive or two.
I cannot believe. Also, too, another thing, too, I cannot believe that Ellie Cornell is in this fucking movie.
That's a positive I was going to give it, but it's a compromise positive. Ellie Cornell, we love, listen, the people that love Halloween 4, Halloween 5, it was amazing to see Ellie Cornell. I was so excited. Like, listen, I was keeping up with the production of this movie. I was a big Game Informer magazine nut, and I used to get the Game Informer magazines in the mail. And I remember specifically there was an article covering House of the Dead's production, and they threw shots at Paul W.S. Anderson's Resident Evil movie and was like, yeah, well, when we show our gunshot wounds, we show the brains blow out and we show the practical effects. Take that, Paul W.S. Anderson, but when they typed it, it was Paul W.S. Anderson, but they typed in Paul Wussy, like W Wussy S, like yeah. And I was like, oh shit! I was like, okay, because at the time they really only had the first 2 Resident Evils out. This came out in 2003. They only had like the first 2 for the most part.
No, not one. It had one.
Okay, so they have Resident Evil 1.
Came out a year after, a year later.
I was like, okay. I said, oh shit, I'm with it. Plus, I used to play House of the Dead 1 and 2 on Dreamcast faithfully. Goldman, all of that shit. I was keeping up with the storyline. I was trying to unlock little unlockables and shit. So I remember I was like Ellie Cornell's in this, and I'm not sure if Jonathan Cherry was in Final Destination 2 before or after this, but I was like, okay, Jonathan Cherry's in here. I've got 2 people to root for. Clint Howard,
same time, because it was Destination 2 came out right around the same time as House of the Dead.
Okay,
so pre-production wise, he was just coming from Final Destination to do this.
Yeah. So Ellie Cornell, Jonathan Cherry, Clint Howard, but Clint Howard is like, all right, that motherfucker's in everything. So, but whatever. I'm glad to see horror alumni in there, and I was loving what I saw from the zombie effects in there. But when that shit was over, this isn't a movie where I was like, yeah, I like it, and then I went, I got older and then I hated it. This is a movie where I was very confused, where it was like, I don't know what y'all are doing. And I don't like it, and I tried to force myself to like it plenty of times. this is one of the first shit show edition commentaries I've ever done on the podcast. Because this movie's terrible, man. The acting's terrible. The dialogue is awful. The story, like, people might be like, oh, you're going into House of the Dead for the story. Yeah, the little bit of story that you do give me is terrible and it doesn't make sense. This movie.
Spring breakers go to a deserted island to party. Meanwhile, there's a fucking Dr. Frankenstein type character. Like, this is basically Island of Dr. Monroe beats Spring Breakers. Get the fuck out of here. Instead of turning them into animals, he turns them into zombies. Get the fuck out of here with them.
That motherfucker was definitely Dr. Frankenstein, wasn't he? Because he had his face all stitched up and he was building shit in the laboratory. He was bad, man. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, I guess this was Uwe Boll's way of saying, I'm going to direct Blood Vein at one point in my life. Because you had a fucking sword fight at the end of House of the Dead? That was just an excuse for you to stab that girl in her pretty ass.
Why are zombies kung fu fighting?
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Like, I will say they're like Jonathan Cherry has a fight scene, like a pretty lengthy fight scene with a couple of zombies, and they're kung fu fighting. Like, I would accept that shit if you made it believable. Like, there are some like Shaw Brothers or like some kung fu movies out there that have zombies like, you know, kung fu and shit. And I could buy that. I don't buy it here.
There's another thing that I can give this movie as far as credit goes. That girl, Ona Gruer, has the best rack that I have ever seen in a zombie movie. And Uwe Boll was smart enough to catch it in slow motion. When the House of the Dead explodes and her and Jonathan Cherry are running in slow motion, I'm like, listen, this is the best shot in the fucking movie. This is the best shot in a horror movie I've seen since Monica Keena was running in slow motion from the explosion in Freddy vs. Jason. He knew what he was doing. Casting that girl, and that fucking lace front, or not that lace front, but that shit is tied by the tiniest strings that you could ever see in your lifetime. And Uwe Boll knew that. He's like, listen, if I've got to keep these people engaged in this movie, I've got to show them breakfasts. Like, that's all it is. That's all it was. And then, like, the characters suck. First of all, you know what? I'm not even gonna say first of all. Let me say one more thing, and then I'll just let you keep tearing this shit apart. Fuck y'all for even uttering George A. Romero in this movie. I'm a George A. Romero fanatic. I haven't seen all his movies, but nonetheless, I'm a fanatic. And the fact that these people, you know, when the survivors come to the House of the Dead and Jonathan Cherry and Liberty and the other guy, the forgettable characters for the most part, they're showing the camcorder footage of the attack at the rave. And the dude's like, those are fucking reanimated corpses, just like out of a Romero movie. And she's like, a what? And he's like, a Romero movie, like the Holy Trilogy, Night, Dawn, and Day. They said he was going to make Twilight of the Dead one day, but I really doubt it. It's like, bitch, fuck you. Twilight of the Dead turned into Land of the Dead, which, while it is very flawed, is a superior film compared to House of the Dead.
Bullshit.
Suck a dick. Fuck y'all for even trying to incorporate George A. Romero into the mix. This movie fucking sucks, man. Garbage. One of the worst fucking video game adaptations ever. The worst video game adaptation ever. Yeah, of all time, bro. Now, we talked about Double Dragon and Doom and all of that type of Street Fighter. This shit takes the cake. It's terrible, man. It's no redeeming qualities other than the practical effects. I appreciate practical effects and gore, but that's not enough to push me through this bullshit. It's a fucking mess.
That chick that jumps up with the shotgun and it does the 360, like, that shotgun should have fucking pushed that bitch back.
Yeah, she should have just flew back.
Like, that shotgun.
She automatically got plugged up to the matrix. She jumped up, and listen, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw that, I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I thought that was one of the coolest moments in the movie.
What's this? It's like, you made
she
a piece of shit.
And you see the pellets separate, but the zombie was like, now, granted, they do that in the game. The zombies throw axes and throw knives,
but they don't do tornado kicks.
This shit, man. This shit, yo, Uwe Boll. And fuck, listen, we can get Uwe Boll on the show. I don't care if we burn this bridge because Uwe Boll, he's a spoiled little bitch anyway. You are not built for the industry. He's the motherfucker that's like, well, if you don't like my movies, then go fuck yourself, or we can get in the boxing ring and we can fight each other. First of all, I'm not fighting Uwe Boll. That's a big motherfucker. That's a big foreign Russian motherfucker. I don't know what his nationality is, but
I thought he was German. I thought he was German.
Is he? Let's find out.
I would not fight. Even if he was Russian, I still would not fight him. Like, dude.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, we smart, bro. We gonna pick and choose our battles wisely. I'm not getting in the fucking ring
German.
with Uwe Boll.
He's German. I still would have fucked with German.
In the ring with that big German motherfucker. Yeah, I'm not doing all of that. Like, listen, I'll pick up a brick or something. Like, I'll be Craig from Friday, and I'll pick up a brick and just throw that shit at you. I'm not fucking around in no ring with you. Because I did see a video where he did fight a fan. Now, they weren't the same size, but he fucked that up. He did. He fucked them up. He did. And it's like, listen, but honestly, you don't get no cool points for that. If you're not built for criticism, you're not built for this industry. We're going to have to deal with that at some point in time. Some people could jump out of there and be like, we hate R&Z Live. Okay, cool. What can we do to make it better? Yeah. What can we do to make you go fuck yourself if you don't like us? Fuck out of here. You know, we can take it different ways, but Uwe Boll is just such a spoiled bitch. Like, he just, if you don't like it, then you can fight me. Like, no, you just get better. Make better movies.
Yeah,
and he has a knack for directing video game movies. Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead, Blood Rain, Rampage. Rampage is the only good movie he's done. It's not really based off a video game, but it's the only competent film he's done that's entertaining as shit. And it's the closest we're going to get, speaking of video games, to Grand Theft Auto. It's a motherfucker running around town, shooting people up, killing everybody. Brendan, you never saw it?
No, never saw it.
Oh, boy.
I don't watch the films, bro, because I'm like, dude, I watched like 3 of them, and I'm like, I'm burnt the fuck out already.
I know, but trust me, bro, trust me. Rampage, don't get it mistaken with the one with The Rock. Rampage with Brendan Fletcher, Uwe Boll, it is the most competent film you're going to get from this guy in comparison. It's very simple. This guy gets a Teflon suit. He gets 2 automatic rifles. He walks around town killing everybody at random. And Brendan Fletcher is already a great fucking actor. He's already a great actor. I wish he was I wish he was a leading man, but unfortunately he's not. But he's a great actor. But Rampage is the only Uwe Boll movie that is worth your time. I can guarantee you. And even if you don't like it, you'll look back in comparison and be like, well, you know, compared to House of the Dead and Alone in the Dark and Blood Rain, Rampage is probably it's the best movie he's done. Considerably. There's little nooks and crannies.
Yeah. Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
Fuck Uwe Boll. Fuck House of the Dead. That's like, yeah, I was not gonna put myself watching that movie again. I'm like, no, I'm fucking good.
I mean, kudos to Uwe Boll for putting a lot of titties in that movie too. Kudos to him for doing that, but it's not enough to save it, bro.
No. Okay, so here we go. We got So I posted, what are your worst? It's so funny because I posted, what are your worst video game movie adaptations, TV adaptations? That got fucking flooded. When I put up, what is the best video game adaptations? Crickets. Goes to show you. Yeah. Okay. Worst from Giant Music 831. Resident Evil, the Netflix series. I agree. That's just.
That was bad.
That was terrible.
Bad. Listen,
if this was TV and movie, that'd be on there. Doom 2, from also. So
I still got
not Doom Part 1, Doom Part 2, Annihilation.
Yeah.
The sci-fi movie.
Still gotta watch it.
Mets 831, Legend of Chung-Li, Avatar, and Dragon Ball Evolution.
I've never seen Dragon Ball Evolution. I've heard it's pretty bad. I've heard it's terrible.
That's in a toxic commentary. You wouldn't even fucking make it through. You probably pass the fuck out by the amount of drink that you have, dude. Like, The whole thing would be you snoring, and we'll just hear Goku in the background. You're like, ah! You know, so don't do that. Bray Tanzan says Double Dragon, Doom, and Street Fighter.
Ooh, the first
Yeah,
one?
the first one.
I mean, listen, I get it. I understand. I understand it. I do.
Yeah. So those were our submissions. So yes, thank you everyone that submitted. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that submitted their picks, man. We appreciate y'all. Whether we agree or disagree, we appreciate the hell out of it.
And Gamer Herald also said Annihilation and also Street Fighter as well. So nothing I can do.
We appreciate everything, everybody. We sure do.
You know, if you want to look at what video game adaptation should look like, look no further than the Super Mario Brothers movie. Because you know what? I don't care if it's a weak story. I don't care. I had a blast with it, and I was grinning ear to ear from frame one. I walked out of the theater with a huge smile on my face, and I wanted to come home and play my N64.
Yeah, man, it is literally. I'm so glad you said N64 because we got a little bit of everything as far as 2D, but seeing that movie and the liberties they took with like Super Mario World and or Mario 64 type of 3D shit, that's the one you want to play afterwards because they give you, you know, there was a lot of complaints about. Yeah, well, the story and that. Listen, I got way more than I bargained for with that movie. The moment that first of all, the beginning of the movie's fire, you know, with Koopa and everybody. But when Mario and Luigi get their first job, first of all, they
fuck that dog. Fuck that dog. That dog's a piece of shit.
Yo, like they
played so much of a Disney like a Disney short, like with Mickey, Goofy, and Donald were all plumbers, and that's something they would have to deal with. That's what that kind of reminds me of.
The beginning, they played the fucking original Super Mario Brothers theme song from the TV show, and I was like my ears were getting savvy all over again, bro. And I was like, what? This sounds familiar. And then when I heard that hook on the brothers, I was like, wow. I was like, wait. I was like, did they just do that? Did they just do that? And then when Mario and Luigi get their first phone call, you know, for their first job, when they're running down the street, it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle course. It's an obstacle course, just like the game, but it's like in the regular world, the New York world that they're used to. And I'm like, if I'm getting this minutes into the movie, I'm terrified of what they're about to do. And then when you get to the Mushroom Kingdom, to get to the Mushroom Kingdom was one thing, but then when you get to the Mushroom Kingdom, I was like, this is a dream come true. This shit is literally a dream come true, man. And I did have tiny bit of reservations for Chris Pratt doing the voice, but the voice acting was so beyond me that I forgot that it was Anna Taylor-Joy, Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black. There was Seth Rogen. They did such a fucking great job embodying these characters and taking their own liberties with these characters to the point where you didn't recognize it. Wasn't overwhelming like, oh, you hear Seth Rogen like laughing. He didn't do all that shit in the fucking movie. Like, the movie was fucking perfect for me, man. It was so good, man. It was so, oh my God, like that. And I feel like Super Mario Brothers has opened up the door for everybody else.
Yeah.
They left the door open, you know, for all the little guys.
I had said this too yesterday on the Cinema Space. Like, this is the movie we should have gotten back in '93. This is the movie we should have gotten back in '93. Animation. Yep. Like, this is the exact. Because if you really think about it, 3 years later, what movie came out? Toy Story. Ooh. It had fucking New Line Cinema. If Mario Bros. Was not leased to New Line Cinema and it was leased to Pixar, think about what that could have meant for Super Mario at that time. It would have been such a trailblazing movie. And it would have shown that video game movies can work. Like in an animation. form. Yeah, not every video game lends itself to a live action. And honestly, yeah, I like Super Mario Bros., but that's just really more of a guilty pleasure thing. But I don't think Super Mario Bros. Lends itself to a live action movie. Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't. You know? Metroid might lend itself to a live action. Star Fox, that lends itself more like an animation. Donkey Kong, animation.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that, you know, they were like, oh, well, with Mario Brothers being so successful, are we going to get a Super Smash Brothers or whatever universe? And I'm like, listen, can we please get Star Fox? I need Star Fox.
Yeah.
I need Star Fox.
Yeah, Star Fox lends itself really well to Illumination. And I think they need to figure out, like, Nintendo needs to figure out how to license some of these properties. But this is the movie we should have got back in '93, honestly. Like,
yeah, man.
The technology was there, just, you know, had they waited just 3 years later and came out right around Toy Story, or if it replaced Toy Story, it would have been a much better movie, honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This
would have been great to hear Danny DeVito play Mario.
No. I mean, I'm not gonna say it wouldn't have worked, but
that would have been
then that means if Danny DeVito played Mario back in the '90s, and that means that Tim Burton would have directed the fucking Super Mario Brothers movie.
Holy shit!
That shit would have been dark as fuck.
That would have been the original. That would have been the original Luigi's Mansion right there.
Luigi's Haunted Mansion, yeah. That shit would have been dark as fuck. It would have been a straight up horror movie. You would have immediately started at the board where all the ghosts are running the fuck around and all the pillars are fucking slamming down.
Boom would have been the main antagonist.
But now let me ask you this: did I miss something? Yoshi wasn't in this, right?
No, he was in there. Second post-credit scene.
This is why I need to, like, not leave out.
Exactly. I left during the credits after the first post-credit scene.
Because everything ain't Marvel, man. I be trying to tell myself everything ain't Marvel. Like, did you see? Remember the post-credit sequence for Scream 6?
Yeah, they rickrolled you. They kind of rickrolled you.
Perfect. It was perfect, but I'm like, oh, Mindy set the tone, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna stay here for no other post-credit sequences, and I'm like walking away like.
I knew there was gonna be a second post-credit scene, but it was already like 1 in the morning. It was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, I'm tired. Let's just go. Yeah. I'm sure some asshole's gonna post it on TikTok. Sure enough, 2 days later, it's on there. Also, too, let me just say this too. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Had I not seen fuck Super Mario Brothers like at midnight and I saw that on Saturday, I would have been pissed. Stop doing shit like that. Stop posting fucking clips from the videos on your TikTok account because you want to get more follows. You motherfucker, you clout chasing prick. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about anyone specifically. I'm just saying most of you motherfuckers are foul for that shit. That's all.
No, let's talk about them specifically. Fuck it.
I'm gonna start naming usernames right now. User 19666678889.
Jesus Christ. We're gonna get fucking canceled at some point, bro. We are. They're gonna be like, listen, we can't have these motherfuckers on fucking.
Right.
We can't have them anymore. Oh, no, Super Mario Brothers. That was a fantastic experience, man. That movie was so good. It was it literally was the video game. Like, you know, we've talked about a lot of bad video game adaptations. We're going to get to our favorite ones, but that was literally like a video game come to life, man. Yeah, like from start to finish. And everything was in context. It made sense. There's going to be people that are going to break down like, well, the story didn't. No. Everything for me was in context, and that's why I gave it a 10 out of 10, which is very fucking rare for me. I don't even give my favorite horror. I didn't even give Halloween Kills, as much as I loved it, a 10 out of 10. I know it's two different properties entirely, but
the principles
when Yeah, man. And like Donkey Kong's incorporation made sense. They made it make sense. They took you all the way to his area and showed you his people, Donkey Kong Country, and then they gradually had these people had Mario and Donkey Kong become friends. They didn't like each other, but they had to become friends, not because they wanted to, but because they had to in the event that some shit was happening that everybody was involved in. All the
Yeah.
fucking pieces came together in that movie, man. Now, a lot of people did complain that Mario and Luigi weren't in the movie together a lot, and you had to have a moment of like you have in every moment. You have to have conflict resolution. Conflict, these two got separated. Resolution, I need to do what I got to do to find my brother, and we need to work together at the end point. And a lot of people also had a problem with the fact that Princess Peach wasn't, oh, I'm sorry, but Princess Peach is in another castle. Everybody's tired of the damsel in distress.
Oh my god,
they're tired of the
that
damsel
was so
in distress.
funny when he said that. I fucking died. I was the only one in the theater that was laughing. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry, Princess is in another castle. Like,
we
fuck
know.
you. Like that.
Yeah, because we know, we get it, man. And it's like, we get tired of, this is an era, whether people like it or not, this is an era, whether it's live action, animation, strong female characters are fucking winning right now. As long as it's not forced, and as long as it's not overbearing, and as long as it's not, trying to bash men altogether. Like, I'm not going to say no names, Black Christmas 2019, but I'm just saying, like, as long as it's not trying to bash men entirely, then yeah, we can have strong female fucking characters, man. So Princess Peach went from being a damsel in distress, oh, Mario, come save me from Bowser, to I got this motorcycle revved up and souped up on y'all asses. So when we hit Star Road or Rainbow Road, I'm fucking with y'all. Like, I'm keeping up with everybody. I'm saving Toad in the process when Rainbow Road breaks in half. I love that, man. I love the adjustments that they made for for modern times and for the fans, dog. Like, it was a good time for me.
Yeah,
I don't know, like, I didn't really have too many complaints about this shit, honestly.
Yeah,
I really did.
I think I gave it 5 Z's also.
Yeah.
I think I gave it 5 Z's also. And you know what? It's everything that I wanted from a Mario movie. You know what I mean? It's everything. Like, I don't care if it's a kid's movie, and yeah, it leans toward more to the kids, you know what I mean? But for us adults that grew up with Mario, like that beginning sequence with the theme song, like that shit's gonna pop us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing the dude play Kid Icarus, that shit's gonna pop us, you know what I mean? Like I want to talk about this though. The dinner scene is something that we all can relate to, though. Like, holy shit, man! That was rough.
That was like real life, like a TV sitcom moment right there. It was like, damn, like we getting crazy like that.
Yeah,
that was wild. That was crazy
funny as fuck. It was. I had a blast with the movie, and I thought it was great. And I think
shit, man.
They said it on Cinema Space that it might be the best video game adaptation of all time.
And you know what? But the only reason that I didn't put it in my best of list is because it's full-blown animation, and we were talking about live action CG hybrids and shit like that. But I definitely don't see an argument with what you just said and what y'all agree on. It really might be overall, like, if we're not going to talk about, oh, well, you can't put it here because it's animated and you can't put it here because it's live action, but as far as video game adaptations go, from what I've seen, and I haven't seen a lot of the Resident Evil animated ones or the Mortal Kombat animated ones, from what I've seen, I definitely might be able to agree. Overall, it's the best. Listen, as far as being transferred from real life into the video game that we fucking grew up on, the multiple video games we grew up on, might be the best adaptation of all time. Yeah. And I hope that it opens up the door. I said this, in one of my posts. I was like, it might open up the door for Crash Bandicoot. We already got Toe Jam and Earl. I don't know how many people are fans of Toe Jam and Earl like me.
If you were a Sega kid, bro, you're ready for that. You know what I mean? You're a Sega kid. You're ready for it. Sega
I've
always has
been ready.
good shit.
I've been
I'm
ready
kind of
for Toad
mad
Man.
that Spot didn't get a fucking adaptation. Kind of mad.
The fucking Spot.
That was a fire game too, bro. That shit was fucking hell.
Oh, what was that? Spot Goes to Hollywood?
Spot Goes to Hollywood, or there was actually another one that he did. I think, yeah.
Spot, Yo-Noid, Arrow the Acrobat, Crash Bandicoot, Nights into Dreams. I want to say Green Dog, Vector Man. Like, come on, man.
Vector Man was fucking sick, bro. I have
like,
I have a Sega
now.
Mini. I have a Sega Mini, and I play Vector Man every time I get every time I get it.
Now, listen, I'm ready for all the little guys to get their movie, to get their chance to shine. Now, as far as the animals go, now low-key, I know they made Flipper, but I do want Echo the Dolphin.
That'd be the most boring movie to like the last 10 minutes.
We could get Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood was in the Flipper movie.
Yeah.
We could get Elijah Wood and Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
But listen, all the Sega adaptations, we need that shit. Sega and Nintendo, we need that shit. We need Ghosts and Goblins and Zelda.
Oh, that'd be
Ghosts
fire.
and Goblins, yeah.
That'd be
Ghosts and Goblins.
fire. Fuck.
Zelda, we need Zelda. Yeah, we need a lot of these, man. I don't know if a lot of people remember Time Lord. I need a Time Lord movie. Time Lord was on the original. Time Lord was on the original Nintendo. The original Nintendo.
Let me see. Look at this.
It was an okay game. Time Lord. I need Wolf Child on Sega Genesis.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Time Lord on Nintendo. That first board.
You know what? You know what this game reminds me of? Rambo.
What?
Rambo ripped this fucking game off. You never played Rambo on the Nintendo?
I did not.
Oh, play Rambo, bro.
It's play Rambo, bro.
It's a bad fucking video game, let me tell you. It looks like they took the same kind of template, dude, from Conrad and put Rambo over it. Honestly, holy shit! Well, speaking of our best video game adaptions, let's go on and kick it off with our list. I'll go and mine's actually a new release. It's Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That was just a fire movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, you didn't see it? It's a fire movie, dude. I
heard from two other people that it was really good though.
Yeah, it's I'm not a big D&D guy. I don't play D&D. You know, I know a little bit about it, but I don't have like a really strong connection to that franchise, which is why it's a little bit lower because I don't play. But as a movie, compared to the other movie we got with Marlon Wayans and Jeremy Irons, this is a fucking masterpiece. Like, yeah, Chris Pine is gonna Chris Pine, and Michelle Rodriguez is a badass.
I forgot Chris Pine is in it. Oh
yeah, your boy. Yeah, that's right. You don't like Captain T. Kirk, bro? What's wrong with you? I mean, he's just like Ash Williams. Like that's who he is. That's who he's becoming now. He's becoming a fucking modern day Ash Williams.
And my man from Jurassic World is in there too. Fallen
Justice
Kingdom.
Smith, Detective Pikachu.
Justice Smith, yeah. Did
from Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu's in there, yeah.
And then Betty from It. Is it Betty?
Somebody from the It movies in there?
Yeah, oh my god. Sophie Ellis, she played, was it Betty? No.
Oh, she played Beverly.
Beverly, yes. Beverly. Yes, young Beverly.
Oh shit. Yeah, I didn't know she was in here. Hugh Grant.
Yeah, Hugh Grant's fucking hilarious in this movie, dude. He's fucking just chewing up the scenery. It's great. It's awesome.
Oh shit.
Chloe Coleman's in here from My Spy. I don't know if you saw that one with Dave Bautista.
I I did not. Chloe Coleman, she looks familiar though. Big Little Lies. I don't know.
Let me see, what else has she been in?
Yeah, everybody. The funny thing is, everybody was for the most part on Facebook. I've been seeing some pretty positive reviews on this new Dungeons and Dragons one. Now everybody's been saying that they went back and watched the original Dungeons and Dragons and it's fucking garbage, but they're saying that this new one was pretty entertaining for them for the most part.
I mean, it's not. You don't even have to play the game.
I'll put it on the list. Shit.
I recommend it. It's awesome. It's a fun time, dude. It is a fun time. Would be higher, but you know, it's a newer release. Also, I don't have a really strong connection to that franchise, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. But yeah, number 5 with Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
All right, so let me ask you this about Dungeons and Dragons, the Honor Among Thieves one. Michelle Rodriguez, how does she do in it? I'm very concerned about Michelle Rodriguez when she's not in a Fast and Furious movie at this point in her career. I'm sorry.
She nails it, dude. She nails it. And it's interesting because her character is like a grunt. And she has some really good comedic moments with, I want to say that was I think Bradley Cooper has a cameo as her husband, as her ex-husband or something like that. It is the funniest shit ever, dude. It's fucking great.
Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, I think it's Bradley Cooper. If not, they got a guy that looks like him. But it's just like one of those cameos. It's pretty funny. Michelle Rodriguez is actually really good in the movie, though. She's really good.
Right.
Highly recommend it.
I got it on the list, sis. I do. I got it on the list, sis. All right. So what are we on? Number 5 on our list of best of. Might come as a shock, but my number 5 on my list of bestesses, video game adaptations, is Sonic 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Allow me to explain. Yeah, allow me to explain. This was probably the best parts of Sonic 1, 2, and 3 for me. And this movie, this was a movie that, like, first of all, the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I wanted it to be, okay, let's take the human characters out of, like, let's have the human characters jump through a ring, and let's have Emerald Hill. Let's have Mystic Cave, or what were the first ones? Labyrinth and Spring Yard, and let's have the original level. Green Zone, there you go. But, you know, they were being cheap. And they figured they'd save more money on their car insurance by switching to Geico by having Sonic enter the real world. It's a money saver. I understand. However, it's the wrong decision to make for me. Now, while the first one was better than I expected it to be, I thought it was going to be complete garbage. The second one, Sonic 2, I said, okay. Like, I remember I saw the trailer and I said, we've got Aquatic Ruin, it looks like. We've got Knuckles. We've got, fuck that. Like, revealing everything. We got Sonic 2. We got, like, Tails is flying the plane. What was that? Not Wing Fortress. This was Sky Chase. Sky Chase in Sonic 2. And I've got the song playing in my head right now, but we've got Sky Chase in there with Tails flying that plane. We've got the big-ass Robotnik walking around. That was Death Egg. You know what I'm saying? Part 2, after you fight Metal Sonic in Sonic 2, you've got Super Sonic, who's fucking craving chili dogs. Like, you've got everything that Sonic 2 gave you. And now, the one thing that I, like, the things that I hate about the movies, both of the movies, I don't like James Marsden. I don't like Tika Sumpter. Shamar Moore should never be allowed near a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog set. I do like the big girl that was getting married in Sonic 2 that was Shamar Moore's wife. I love her. She was in Insecure, in the TV show Insecure. Yeah, I love her, but everybody else, I feel like if you would have did the Super Mario Brothers treatment, it would have been one of the best ones. Because I've always been a Sonic guy over Super Mario. I've always been a Sega Sonic guy over Nintendo Super Mario. But if you would have did a full blown, you know, outreach type of thing with the animation, it would have been the best video game adaptation of all time. However, I do feel like there's a lot of shit going on with Sonic 2, but for the most part, one of the only things that I didn't like about it was that I wanted Jim Carrey to be Fat Robotnik. Now I know if they don't make him Fat Robotnik in part 3, y'all can keep that shit. I don't care if y'all bring Shadow and
he's coming back for part 3 though.
Huh?
I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back for part 3.
Why?
Because he's
why
retired.
You say that?
He's retiring. He said Sonic 2 was going to be his last role.
Now, if not, then they better have a Fat Robotnik. They better recast and have a Fat Robotnik because they hinted at it, and he's bald and all that. That's all cool, but have the fat, skinny leg, skinny arm, big mustache, goggle Robotnik. Have Shadow. If you're gonna have Shadow in it, let's make Sonic 3 a little dark. And they said they were going to introduce. I saw an interview where the director was talking about introducing Big the Cat. I don't know how many people are really crazy about Big the Cat and Amy and all the rest of the Sonic characters, but I'm cool with that. However, Sonic 2 just it hit all the beats, man. Idris Elba as Knuckles, I did not think it was going to work. It was very weird for me as far as voice casting, but it worked. Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey did 10 times better than he originally did. And they had all the Easter eggs, man. And then you had the Chaos Emeralds in the mix. That was another thing that was like, yo, y'all are really paying attention to what the fans want. And not only did they pay attention to what the fans wanted in the first one, they took that and ran with it in spades in the second movie, man. So, number 5, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is one of the best video game adaptations I have seen.
Well,
one of the best.
Jumping off that, going into Sonic the Hedgehog, which is on my number 4 list. I think Sonic the Hedgehog, this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And had they kept Sonic looking like a fucking humanoid, this movie would have been ass. This movie would have been ass. With the same story, the same script, the same direction. Had they kept Sonic a humanoid, it would have been terrible. I am so glad that Paramount decided to redesign Sonic.
He said the humanoid. Yo, he really was a fucking humanoid, bro. Like, yo, I remember when that trailer came out and people were like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Yo, no, man. No. And they told him, too. They told him. The writers, Josh Miller and Pat Casey, told Paramount, like, no, dude, you're going to get a lot of backlash. You're going to fucking get people hating this movie. And once that trailer dropped, they're like, you're right. We need to change it.
It was that, yeah, when that trailer dropped, that shit was bad, yo. It was fucked. Oh, my God. He said Sonic the Hedgehog. That shit was bad.
Yes, it was. It was really bad. There's really not much I can say. I mean, I had a blast with it. I thought Jason Schwartzman, the actor. Oh my God, what's his fucking name?
Oh shit. Aaron Schwartz.
Is it Aaron Schwartz? Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz.
Yeah. Sorry, Sonic. We want to get you on the show one day. We're not trying to burn those bridges. Because I need.
I thought he was great. I thought he was great. I thought he was great. So that would be it right there. I mean, I really got nothing much to say about Sonic the Hedgehog other than it was a fun fucking movie. A lot better than it had any right to be. Honestly, that movie was primed for disaster, and yet it was actually pretty solid. So
I feel like I hate to be unfair here. I feel like had the Super Mario Brothers movie came out first, Sonic would have been a lot better. But we had to. I love that Sonic was the template. I love that Sonic was a template for the little guys for the most part. Sonic opened up the door for people to be like, okay, let's take what they did wrong for the most part and let's do complete animation with Super Mario Brothers. Now we'll be able to have shit like Crash Bandicoot and things like that. So what were we on? Number 5 of our best of?
4.
Oh, we're on number 4. Ooh, my number 4. I don't want to shake the boat here,
no, actually,
but I will.
I was my number 4, so you'd be on number 3.
Okay, all right. Well, that one is Rampage. Yeah, it's Rampage.
With Dwayne?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I've never seen that. I've never seen it.
Oh, you what?
Yeah, I never seen that. Never seen it.
Now, have you played the game?
Yeah,
I played the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the game. Now, okay. All right. Oh, okay. All right. The game. Now you know there's what? A gorilla, lizard, a wolf, some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, tearing up buildings. That's it. The majority of it. You get the gist of it, right? Now.
Yeah.
This movie, The Rock, is the kind of like ape scientist. He's the best friend of the ape. There's a wolf involved, and there's a crocodile. These things get a hold of these animals, and they change them to big size. These motherfuckers, when they start tearing up buildings and tearing up the city, it is everything that I would have expected and more from a Rampage movie. The only thing that didn't happen in this movie was The Rock turning into a fucking monster with them. This movie is, I love it, man. Jeffrey D. Morgan's in it. The girl from, I think it's the same girl from G.I. Is it the girl from G.I. Joe or is it the girl from, let me look this up. Naomi Harris is in here. Joe Maggia, I don't know. He's in here. Marley Shelton is in here. Jack Quaid is in here. I think this girl's name is Brienne Hill. It's a lot of people in this movie. Oh, no. Malin Ackerman. And she was in she was the girl in Harold and Kumar, where Harold and Kumar went to the guy Freak Show's house, and she's like, "Are you boys gonna fuck me now?" She's the freak ass wife. She's in there.
She's in Watchmen. She's Miss Jupiter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's the main girl in Watchmen that fucks Night Owl or whatever he is, Batman 2.0. She's that guy that's fucking Dr. Manhattan and then fucks Night Owl 2.0. We're not even gonna bring up that love triangle. But yeah, and she's in the Final Girls. But yeah, that's her, man. She's in this movie and she plays the bad guy, but this movie is so much, it could have easily just been a mindless monster movie, but they try to put The Rock in there. They try to make The Rock have this, like this bonded relationship with the monkey George before he grows and gets big and starts slamming on buildings. And then Naomi Harris is not necessarily the love interest, but she's the girl who, tags along with The Rock, and she's like, okay, I'll help you figure out what's going on. Jeffrey D. Morgan is pretty much Negan, but the scientist type of government FBI agent. But the monster shit, when they start fucking buildings up, I'm with it, man. I put this up there with movies like The Meg, Kong Skull Island, Pacific Rim, where it's just big ass monsters, animals, or creatures tearing shit apart. And the human characters you get are basically the bonus. they're the bonus. The spectacle is what you really are going in for, and the spectacle is so good in this movie for me that the characters being good is it's more of a bonus, man. It's more of a bonus. I don't like. Listen, if you have not seen this, bro, I definitely recommend it. Let me know what you think of this shit because they take the concept. They do take the concept of these animals just wrecking shit, tearing shit down, but they try to add a story to it. You either buy the story or you don't. You know, because they do try to do. You know, The Rock is what's happening to my friend George. He keeps growing at full size and capacity, and I don't know what's wrong with them and all this other shit. It's like, yo, you either buy it or you don't. You either buy this fucking Planet of the Apes, relationship, or you don't. And that is what it is. But like Rampage is definitely one of those. I love this fucking movie. You gotta see it. You gotta watch it.
I have to give this one a watch. My number 3, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Welcome to Raccoon City.
That's my number 3. That's my number 3.
That's
get it.
A fire movie. I don't care what anyone says. That's a good fucking movie. I mean, I don't want to say good movie, but it is an average, solid movie. Like I was entertained by it. I was not bored. Like the first 15 minutes almost lost me, but it kind of brought me back with the dog. I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Yep.
Really built. And I really do like what they do with Claire and Chris. I really do like what they did with Leon, you know. I mean, of course, he's a rookie. Like, of course, he'd be treated like a bitch. So that makes total sense.
Ooh, Leon was that motherfucker. Wasn't he sleep at the front desk?
Sleep at the desk. How do you sleep through an explosion like that?
Explosion, bro. It's not like it was like a little firecracker. It was a fucking oil tanker that exploded.
Blowing the fuck up.
That was insane, yo. That was insane.
And he's listening to that song Crush. He was listening to This Is Music Volume 2. That's fucking great. I love it.
That was crazy. Like, I hated. That was one thing I did hate. It is my number 3, like it is yours. But that was one thing I hated with that soundtrack. Was the dude was just walking towards him on fire, and then my man from I forgot what other movie was that? Yeah, my man, he shot the zombie. He's like, Leon, go get dressed and let's figure out a way out of here. Who, by the way, that chief had one of the best sequences in the movie where it was like that tracking shot that was from the back seat of the car while he was driving and he was trying to drive through the barricade. That was one of the best shots in the movie. But they made Leon a complete fucking dickhead in that shit. That was
Who's in charge? You are. No, I'm not a rookie. No. You are. You're in charge. Your dad's going to be so proud of you that his incompetent son is rising through the ranks so fast. It's like, God damn.
It was fucking terrible. That was, but no, I agree because like we said, man, if you want to get as close to the video game as you want to get as a fan, this is it. Whether people like it or not, this is Welcome to Raccoon City is the closest to the video game as we're going to get. You can go to the Paul W.S. Anderson movies or the Paul W.S. Anderson, Alexander with Russell Mulcahy. You can go to those Resident Evil films and you can try to pick things apart. Yeah, you're going to get some shit from the movie, but as far as shit, consistently, that as far as the game is concerned, Welcome to Raccoon City's where it's at. And that's just the truth of the matter, man. Like, and I am a fan. That's my guilty pleasure franchise is the Mila Jovovich Resident Evil movies. But, Paul W.S. Anderson, he just took too many fucking liberties with the movie to the point where it separates itself as something different. It's something completely different when you look at it. When you go back and watch it. I love Resident Evil Extinction, but it's not a movie based on the Resident Evil game. Yeah, there are crows. Yeah, there are dogs. Yeah, there are zombies. Yeah, there's Claire, Carlos, and shit like that. And yeah, there's the tyrant who looks just like the tyrant from the game, but it's taken its own liberties as a post-apocalyptic zombie movie that sets itself aside from the Resident Evil movies, man. And Welcome to Raccoon City doesn't do that. They give you exactly what you want. You can either take it or leave it. We're going to give you this in story form or whatever the fuck you want, and it's going to be just that. Like, I appreciate the movie. I appreciate the shit out the movie, man. Like, I had a lot of fun with that movie when it came out.
I did too. I thought that was actually a really fun movie. It was not as bad. I didn't give it a fair shot, and when I saw it, I was genuinely surprised. I was really surprised. Like, God damn, this is really good. I had a blast with it. You know, I can't deny that. You know, a movie that is boring is awful. You know, but this movie did not bore me. It did entertain me. Even though Neil McDonough's in this fucking movie, but he's not in it very long. So there's that. There's that.
Neil McDonough. Oh, every time we praise it and talk about it, I forget that Neil McDonough, old McDonald, is in this fucking movie. I hate him. I don't like him in anything, man. I don't like this motherfucker in
I would recommend
anything he's
you watch Justified. I think Justified in season 3. He plays a mob boss in the Dixie Mafia. It was actually kind of he's actually kind of scary in that. So I would recommend that if you watch.
He said he's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, kind of scary. He does some crazy shit in that series. He does a thing with a prostitute, bro, that is just kind of disturbing. It's like, holy shit.
He said he's actually kind of scary in that. Like, Jesus Christ.
So that was your number 3. Okay. So number 2, Mortal Kombat from 1995.
Ooh, that was my number 1.
That's your number 1?
That was my number 1. Let's talk about it. That's my number 1.
All right.
I'll mark it off.
I mean, come on, dude. It's like it's Bloodsport with supernatural elements. You know what I mean? And the fight scenes are really good. The fight scenes are good, even though the graphics are shit and Reptile looks like shit for a majority of the movie till that big deal at the end. But a lot of the stuff in there still holds up. Like that fight scene with Johnny Cage and Scorpion is actually probably the best fight scene in the whole movie.
Brother. All of the fight scenes hold up in that movie.
No, they do, but I think for me, like that one specifically is like my favorite. I think
Johnny Cage and Scorpion in hell.
In the forest when they get into and then they go into the underrealm. To me, that's my favorite. That's my favorite fight scene.
My favorite fight scene in that one is gotta be like hands down. It's Reptile and Liu Kang. When Liu Kang throws the actual chameleon Reptile into the statue and when you hear the announcer from the game, Reptile, like I get goosebumps every time. But no, you're not wrong, because every single fight scene in the Mortal Kombat 95 movie, you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Bone punching, punches, slaps, everything, you feel it. And this is one of the reasons why, I'm sorry, a lot of people might disagree with me, and we still have to cap off our number 1s, but this is always one of the reasons why the original Mortal Kombat movie will be superior overall as far as the new one. While the new one is more geared towards the games that we know and love, the old one, the fight sequences still hold up. They are so well choreographed. Mm-hmm. They are so well put together. When you watch them nowadays, you don't think you're watching something from 1995. Like, this shit looks like it could be somebody fighting today.
Yeah.
The sequences are fire. Still flames, still hold up. Like you said, Johnny Cage and Scorpion, one of the greatest fight scenes I've ever seen in a video game movie.
Also, the casting is very, very on point. Casting's on point. Christopher Lambert as Raiden? Like,
let me ask you something. As far as the casting goes, would you rather have had Bridget Wilson as Sonya Blade or Cameron Diaz, like it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Cameron
No,
Diaz.
I know. She actually opened up recently about that and reason why she dropped out of it. I think I would have preferred Cameron Diaz because Cameron Diaz said that she was actually training with she was actually training to fight and do Navy SEALs. Sonya Blade was actually supposed to have a much bigger fight with Kano, but it was last minute because Bridget Wilson came in late, and she had to like learn really quick, which is why that fight scene is probably like the
makes
most
sense.
That fight comes off realistic because it comes off as choppy, but Cameron Diaz was actually training for that.
Okay.
So that,
yeah, it makes sense.
For me, that's why I would have Cameron Diaz there, because she was training for 4 months before she had to drop out.
And then when you see her in Charlie's Angels, it's like, yeah, she really put the work in.
Yeah.
She knows how to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? Because people can write off Charlie's Angels all they want, but Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, and Drew Barrymore, they
put in
the fucking work.
They're putting in work. And so that, for me, that's why I would have had Cameron Diaz there, because I think that fight scene with Kano would have been much better.
And rest in peace, shout out to Trevor Goodard, who played Kano. I don't even know what the fuck I just did. I feel like I just did something that didn't even synchronize.
I got you.
Whatever. Y'all get what we saying. Y'all get what we saying, man. Yeah, they get what we saying, man. But no, I agree. I agree. All right.
Yeah.
What are we on now?
So that was your number one. What was your number two? Because number two was Mortal Kombat. My number two.
Your number two was Mortal Kombat 95?
No, my number three. Wait, goddamn! Now I'm all confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to say, where are we at?
I have one left. I have one left. That's all I know. I have one left.
Me too.
Okay.
All right. So, Mortal Kombat 95 was our shit. So I got one left and you got one left. So you go with your one.
Okay. This is a rewatch, and I don't remember much of it when I watched it in the theater, because I guess when I watched it in the theater, I was fucking drunk as fuck and blacked the fuck out because I did not remember watching this fucking movie. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I watched it last night, and I just put it in the background because I was going to put it on my worst. But then I watched it, and I was like, this is fucking good. What the fuck was I thinking? I don't remember none of this shit. And I know I got you in suspense. It is Silent Hill.
Brother.
Probably the closest to a video game adaptation that I've ever seen up until that point. It's very atmospheric. It's even structured like the game. It even opens up with the theme music to the game, like that the string guitar. I mean, I was like watching it, and it's like, wait, I remember this is exactly how Silent Hill opens up. This is exactly how everything. You know what I mean? Like, even when you get down to the fucking hospital level, the hospital level is like down. It's so close to the video game. I'm like, oh my god. I didn't realize this movie was that dark. When I was watching it, I was like, god damn, this movie is dark as fuck. What they did, what they're doing, the cult, the religious. I'm just like, holy shit. How do I not remember any of this? And I had watched it opening weekend. I do remember because I went with a group of friends, and we were pre-gaming, and we were fucked up. I must have been fucked up because I don't remember none of this. I only remember the ending. That was the only thing I remember from the theater. But then when I watched it last night, I was like, god damn, this is awesome, dude. This is fucking great.
Let me tell you something. Silent Hill is on my honorable mentions, but the only reason, swear on everything I love, I just told my girl this shit today when I told her. She was like, yeah, you and Johnny still doing your live stream, and which one y'all gonna pick? Swear to God, on everything I love, I just told her today. We just watched, she saw Silent Hill, and we've got like a watch list. So she was like, let's watch Silent Hill. And we watched it together. And I told her by the time I was done with it, I can't, I want to put this in either, I want to put it in my best video game adaptations, but I haven't played the game. I'm not that attached to the game. So we can put it in our honorable mentions. But I told her, this is insane because while I've never played the game like that, this movie has an atmosphere that is fucking creepy and unsettling as shit. The movie, like Rhoda Mitchell, Sean Bean, Alice Creech from fucking Sleepwalkers was in there. And I remember I told my girl, I was like, oh, she's from Sleepwalkers and fucking oh my God, what's it called?
Ghost Stories, Sleepwalkers, Gretel and Hansel.
Whatever it was. I'm like, she was like, oh yeah, she seems about right. She seems like type, and I'm like, yes, that is her. She's in here. And it seems like she's playing the right character, but this movie, like the atmosphere of the movie, the creep factor. First of all, it's based off fucking Pennsylvania, Centralia, Pennsylvania, where the ground is still on fire. And I'm like, there's certain things I do recognize from the game in Silent Hill, but at the end of the day, it's like, while I don't recognize it, I still know this is a powerhouse type of fucking adaptation. This is fucking crazy. This is insane. And it's wow, man. It's so wow. Like Silent Hill. Now I haven't seen the second one. I want to watch the second one. I want to watch it. I know you tell me don't watch it.
It'll ruin the first movie, I promise you.
Bro, real quick.
I
have to take a piss. Like 2 seconds.
All right, I got you.
I do want to watch the second one. I don't know if you're telling me not to watch it, but I need to watch it.
All right. Well, Romero's taking a restroom break. Anyone in the comments? Anyone got in the still watching? What are your best video game adaptations? Go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'll read them off. We just did our worst, and my worst was Double Dragon, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, House of the Dead. House of the Dead is arguably one of the worst. I mean, I have not seen Blood Rain, I have no interest in seeing Blood Rain, so I'm not going to do that. But Mortal Kombat Annihilation is just, it's terrible. So is House of the Dead. House of the Dead is fucking ass. Yeah. Who thought that was a good idea? It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 3. Who thought Turtles in Time live action was a good idea? It's a solid idea and sound in a video game, but it's not sound as a fucking movie. Like, you really trying to make Back to the Future with Ninja Turtles? Get the fuck out of here. No, that shit don't work. That shit does not work. That does not work for me at all, man. Silent Hill is my number one. I think Silent Hill is the best video game adaptation. And I think it's one movie that does get slept on. I don't think it's a movie that gets enough praise, honestly. I don't think Silent Hill gets praised, honestly. Like, when people talk about video game adaptation, this is a movie that people often overlook, I feel like.
Silent Hill?
Yeah, Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Silent Hill is really solid. And when I watched it last night, dude, I rewatched it, I was like, God damn, this is a good fucking movie. I just put it in the background and I just stopped doing what I was doing. It's like, oh, I'm watching this now. I'm like, oh, okay. Before I knew, it was already like I was already at the church. I was like, oh shit! I'm like 2 hours into this fucking movie, and the initial cut was 3 hours. You believe that shit?
He said I was already in the church.
I was at the church sequence, man, when they're gonna sacrifice that girl. I was like, holy shit, this shit's crazy. The movie was dark. The movie was hella dark.
Yeah, of course. Like the movie was just like I wasn't sure if we were going places that we were supposed to go, and I was like, okay, I know this is a dark game, this is a dark movie, but it was just shit going on. Like when that dude, like, if there was one thing I knew that was going to happen when I watched it, I knew that Pyramid Head was going to rip that woman's skin off. I already saw that part. I already knew that was going to happen. But when it happened, I still was like, fuck! Like, what the fuck is happening? I didn't know what was going on. Still didn't know what was going on. Insane.
So that's my number one, Silent Hill.
Alrighty.
So what's your
well, my number one is I feel like rightfully so for somebody like me. My number one is Mortal Kombat 2021. It is. It is. It is. It is. And I will explain why. I remember when that trailer dropped. And I remember my expectations just being like through the roof. I already loved, like, it's not to say that I didn't love the first one. And regardless of how I felt about Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the first one still stood the test of time as far as shit that they delivered video game wise, as far as the fight sequences. The fight sequences were always a high bar that was set for me. But I remember seeing that trailer for the first one, and I'm like, this is while the first one had the fight sequences and was PG-13, this one is more so my forte. This is my cup of tea. This is me putting in fucking ABAC, ABB, the fucking blood code, and this is me getting what I wanted out of a Mortal Kombat movie. Now, I know it's a little orchestrated because, whatever. But I understood what they were going for with this new movie, man. And they gave me everything that I had. Like, now, I'm not going to lie. Like, I love the original Mortal Kombat movies. Or not the Mortal Kombat movies, but the Mortal Kombat games. But the ones that came later on where it's like, you can fight Rambo and you can fight RoboCop and all that other shit. Like, it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's fine, but I've got to get a handle on what's going on. I've got to get a handle on what to expect from these movies. So the last couple games, it was shit that I expected, and I got it for the most part. Mortal Kombat, man, another thing that I didn't like about it, I'm not gonna lie, Cole Young.
Cole.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? That was the Avatar character.
We agree. I think that's where we agree.
That was the
it's like
Avatar character that they did, and they did the same shit that they did with the Resident Evil Paul W.S. Anderson movies. They did the same shit where it's like, oh, well, we'll just cast somebody who can fit into the story.
Yeah.
It's not a part of the actual original story. And it's like, fuck y'all, man. Like, I'd much rather follow somebody that I know as opposed to fucking Cole Young, who the fuck is this dude? Like, Cole Young can't even, whoop Goro's ass in a fight. Or he can't even whoop a fucking regular person's ass in a fight. He's got to get, calls pulled off of him. I didn't like it. But, if I got to single that out, I got to single out every Resident Evil movie. They did the Avatar thing where they put somebody new in there. And that's cool, but it was too much, man. But overall, I do feel like the Mortal Kombat movie is it's the epitome. It's the epitome. You get the fights, you get the violence, you get a bit of the story, not a lot of it. I feel like a lot of the story was in the beginning with
being chosen.
What's his name? No. What the fuck? Scorpion and not Reptile. Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Oh yeah.
You get the majority of the story with that in the beginning, and that's cool. If you separate yourself from that and you want to, defy that, that's fine. But like the story wise, we've tried to get there, and I feel like if we don't, then that's cool. But Mortal Kombat is just it is the closest that we've gotten to the game. Now, granted, like I said, the fight sequences don't hold up. The fight sequences don't hold up as well as the '90s ones. The '90s ones are still reigning champ.
That final fight between Sub and Scorpion in the gym actually kind of holds up very well.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. That one was good. And I do love that. While I'm not the biggest fan of Cole Young, I feel like Cole Young they were jumping Sub-Zero. You know, Scorpion and him were, you know, they were dual fighting him. They were fucking him up at some point, and that's cool. That's cool. But I just wish there was more. And another flaw that I do have to talk about with Mortal Kombat 2021 is the fact that there was a lot of throwaway characters. Reiko got nothing to do but get killed by Jax. Nitara got nothing to do but get killed by Kung Lao. Kung Lao had nothing to do but get killed on his own goddamn time. These are characters that should have definitely been, locked in. They should have been carried on later on into the movie, but it is what it is. Man, I think it's one of the best video game adaptations.
And we're getting the sequel, so that's also a plus.
I mean,
scripts are being written. Oh, they're hoping 2024 we'll see MK2.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think so. I feel like that's another one where they're going to look at it like, well, it didn't make as much box office money as we wanted it to.
Oh no, it's already been greenlit, so it's happening. They just need a script for it. Yeah.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah.
Well, listen, they need a script. Listen, this is where we come in. That's where we come in. Warner Brothers and Midway. Yeah. You can tune in to the R&Z live stream, and you can hire us as the writers for the new Mortal Kombat movie, and we guarantee we will bring you guys a fucking hit.
Or a consultant. We'll at least consultant. We'll let you consultant, and then we'll tell you what needs to go and what needs to stay.
He said our fucking consultant. Yeah, we'll get y'all through it, man.
We'll get you through it. We'll get you through it for sure. Well,
we promise.
That was our show on the worst and best video game movie adaptations. Hope you guys enjoyed our list, and hope you guys enjoyed our time, our banter. And you can catch the replay of this on YouTube Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern. So please go over to YouTube at Johnny Zuko and listen. You can rewatch our podcast from there. Till then, we will see you on the 25th. Is that right? No.
Was that a question mark?
The 26th.
I was about to say, was that a question? That was a question mark.
Yeah. I was looking at my calendar. So wait a minute. I can't see. The 26th.
For sure, man. Thank you, everybody that tuned in and, chimed in with us. If you gave y'all thoughts, we appreciate y'all, man. We love y'all. Thank you for tuning in every single time.
Yeah. And I think we're doing our hardest levels, right? Are we still doing that? Or are we going to do this?
Yes. Oh, shit. You know what? Let me start my list tonight after we get off this. Hardest video game levels like ever? Like ever in life?
Yeah, like ever.
Ooh, I got like PTSD flashbacks of Sonic Spinball.
Yeah, I already have fucking ghouls and goblins running through my head right now.
Say ghouls and goblins.
I'm like, yo, I don't know, dude. I'm already having flashbacks to that shit.
Yeah, man. We gotta keep it. Yo, and I love one thing I'm gonna say before we wrap this up, bro. One thing I love, we definitely go back and listen to this. We kept it. I don't know if this was on purpose or not. We kept it very video game oriented as far as the conversation goes. This shit fell into place perfectly, man. And there's a reason why we said this was going to be a good one. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's Ghost and Goblins is running through my head, and now I'm just like, motherfucker, what am I gonna do?
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, tune in on the 26th. We're gonna talk about our hardest video game levels. This is gonna
Yeah.
range from arcade to SNES to NES to Sega to any fucking game out there. Shit, we'll even throw in Candy Crush if we have to. But till then, we'll see you then, man. All right, man. For Zuko, for Romero.
All right, everybody.
Peace.